This is the Mountainside Podcast, and joining us in studio once again is Factory X fighter, UFC light heavyweight Dustin Jacoby is back on the Mountainside, coming off a massive win in 2024. Dustin is holding on to his rankings in the light heavyweight division and is a force to be reckoned with. But above all that, Dustin and I have become friends over the years. I think this is his third or fourth time on the podcast. I always enjoy having him on, and I hope that you enjoy our conversation.
I am stoked to have you back in here, bro.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's always good to be in here.
I love having you, man. I feel like it's been too long, honestly.
When was our last time? I was trying to remember.
I was trying to remember, too. Did we go to the archery range before, or did you come in one time?
Before, yeah. It was a whole day.
That was rad.
I want to go back and do that.
Let's do it.
That was super cool, man.
Let's get Mark or somebody to go, too.
My bow dialed in.
Okay.
This year. We did it a lot that day, but I need to get the right arrows. And I was just telling my brother, he's a big bow hunter. He's like, dude, send your bow to me. He's like, he loves building the arrows. He's obsessed with it.
Sweet.
So that would be pretty cool. But then you got to send him the bow, and I was like, I can just.
That's right. He's a different state, huh? Shout out too, man. I talk to your brother every once in a while. So,
yeah, Darren. Yeah, super cool,
Darren's
dude.
Super rad.
And I'm a lefty too. I shoot. I'm left eye dominant, so I think that would throw him off.
Dude, you shocked the shit out of me when we went up there because, like, I think I've talked about this before, and I hope this doesn't upset you. But I was like, man, I don't know how this is gonna go when you pulled because I think you had like 2 arrows.
Yeah.
And I think he brought like a golf range finder.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So I was like, an American bowman is tough to shoot, right? And I was like, yeah, damn, this might be a bad day for Dustin, you know? And then it was cool because we have about the same draw length. So you were able to kind of shoot my arrows.
Yeah.
But like, sometimes when I go up there, I'll ruin 2 or 3 arrows, like completely. Because, there's rock backdrops behind the target. There's assholes that set up that course, man.
That is not an easy course, but it totally gets you dialed in for the season.
Yeah. You can take your headphones off if you want. You want them on?
I think they're cool right now.
Okay, then I'll rock them then too, dude.
I know.
I enjoy having them.
You like the headphones.
It's because I'm hard of hearing, man. So
I'm getting there too. I've been punched in the ear too many times. So when I put my ear pods in, I'm like, I can hear clear out of this one. My left one, not so much.
Man, mine's rock and roll and just being around loud shit, explosions, fucking. Every career I've had has been loud. Except for this one.
This one's
now
a
in
more
like
chill.
A soundproof room. Yeah, no, but you shocked me, dude. Like the true athlete came out in you that day, man, because you shot like we were scoring it, and I think you shot like maybe 10 behind. It might not even been that much, man. We were neck and neck, dude. You crushed it up there.
Yeah, it was fun, man. Like I said, I'd love to go back, get the bow dialed in, and I still have not put down an elk with my bow. And that is a huge goal of mine. My brother's done it twice now. On his very first elk hunt, shot a trophy bull of a lifetime, royal bull, 6x6, big whale tails.
Yeah.
And it got me a little bit jealous. I want to get one down with a bow.
Let's go, dude. There's no better place to shoot than American Bowman because that is like a real hunting scenario, other than like stalking in on a live animal, right?
Oh, for sure.
The shots, like up, downhill. Some of them you have to get on your knees.
Yeah, no doubt. It's like prepping you for the real thing, man.
It's so cool. Do you remember that shot? I was just talking about this the other day where we shot across the creek at the mountain lion, and it's like it was like a valley.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So cool.
Yeah, man. Take me back. I would love to go. I can't even remember exactly where that is,
dude. I go. So it's a private club,
right?
But I'll take you up there anytime.
Yeah.
And then you could also become a member. I can get
That's
you
what you were
there.
saying. Yeah, it's kind of
it's not expensive either, man. Like I don't know where they're at membership wise. We just did a podcast with them.
Oh, really?
And they
aren't they kind of maxed out? Aren't they?
They were, but they opened it up to like 30 more dudes this year. So as long as those 30 haven't, but
now as a
I'm
member,
sure they would love to have.
Yeah, for sure. But as a member, you don't want a ton of guys there, right? I guess if you've already been a part of it, and you just don't want it to ruin a good thing.
That's kind of the old philosophy. There's some old blood in there,
Oh, totally.
They have meetings. I don't go to any of that sort of stuff. And they do like work parties, and shout out to all those guys that do that. But I just go up there and shoot,
Cool.
I go twice a week in the summer.
Oh, no kidding?
Yeah, that's kind of like my workout to get ready for hunting. Because, I mean, if you do shoot, did we shoot both sides that day? We only shoot one.
We shot both.
Did we?
Yeah.
So we did 40 targets.
Yeah.
So I think it's like 4.5 miles.
Yeah.
And it's not like you're just walking on a golf course or something.
Right.
Like it's up and down.
You're working.
And then, what I do during the week if I'm by myself, just to get through the course as fast as I can and get the heart rate up while I'm shooting, is I'll throw on a heavy pack, like 20, 30 pounds in the pack, and run between the targets with my bow.
Nice.
And that's
a great workout,
yeah,
too.
man. And then trying to shoot with a high heart rate, you know, like I don't take a few minutes to like try to calm down. Like,
right.
And some
it's
of those
all
shots,
a part of the training, you know.
Yeah.
It's all a part of the hunt.
I love it, man. It's like my favorite thing to do, I think. So that was a fun day, though.
That was.
We'll do it again.
Yeah.
Anytime you want,
let
man.
Let me know, man. I would love to.
Like I said, I go twice a week. And the cool part about most of the guys that are members of the club, which is super cool, like you would get along with any of them.
Yeah.
They're kind of just working class, blue collar guys. So a lot of the times I have the course to myself those mornings. I'll go up there and it's like,
I think that
there's been times where I'm like, fuck, man, if I fall off this cliff, nobody might find me for like 2 or 3 days.
Right.
So I like started taking the inReach with me. Because the best part about
Smart.
that too is there's no cell service, you know? So
right.
it's like,
well, now you have satellite texting.
yeah, that's crazy. The new iPhone.
Isn't that a game changer?
Garmin's going to go out of business.
It
man.
is, dude. Why would you keep an inReach other than, I don't know.
Maybe for the SOS, but the phone does it.
But
SOS
the
too.
coordinates, the map.
Right.
You'd want the map still. I don't
Yeah.
think your map would work without the.
It does work. Onyx and stuff like those other hunt apps, they work without.
So
Yeah.
so you're still going to use them.
Yeah.
You're still going to use.
And you know what's funny
maps,
is
right?
I love Garmin, man. Like I've hit them up like 5 or 6 times. They would be the perfect sponsor for this podcast. Like,
yeah, totally.
everybody that listens to this, to these episodes, would utilize it somehow. I
For
mean, most of
sure.
the people are interested in outdoors. It's a safety thing, like, and
It's
they're
totally
just,
a safety thing. That's a
dude.
great
They've
point
never
right there, man.
like replied back. Like,
Oh, really?
They don't sponsor.
They
anybody.
must be too big.
I guess, dude.
I'm sure they crush it. I mean, I got the Garmin watch here. You know,
Oh, they're
and
the-
even when I go camping in the summertime, I bring that inReach with me, like you said, for safety purposes. If
Yeah.
anything goes wrong, and like the satellite texting is a game changer. I don't know if you'll need the Garmin as much now, but probably still keep it with me.
I think I will until the phones come far enough along. I'm waiting for Elon to come out with the phone
Yeah, he's
because he's with
does it all,
Starlink
man.
and all that sort
I
of
know,
shit, man.
Starlink
like,
is taking over. It's kind of expensive though, isn't it?
it's pretty
I think
pricey.
it's like I think like a basic package is like $120 a month.
But if you want the bad ass Mac Daddy that rolls down the road with you and all that stuff, I think it's like $300 or $400.
Yeah, I
isn't it?
know, which is kind of expensive.
Yeah. I don't know. It's cool. But at the same time, I'm kind of like disheartened. I'm like, fuck, man, I mean, how many times have you been called out of camp to go fight? Like twice?
A couple times, yeah, man. It's sometimes you got to answer that call,
Right.
even when you don't want to. That
Yeah.
one time was crazy. I fought UFC 268, Madison Square Garden. I was literally on the mountain, drinking a couple beers and hanging out with the boys. and when my buddy somehow got a text, none of us had service. And finally, when we did, all of our phones were blowing up because people were trying to get a hold of us. Like, hey, man, get back here, get this fight. And ended up taking it and winning. And super glad I did, man. Madison Square Garden was a great opportunity.
That was rad. That was a rad
To
night.
look back, yeah, it's part of my highlight moment of my career to look back on and be like, man, I was there, at the top, living at the top. It was a good time, good night.
Just the fight history that's happened in that building
Oh, man.
is unbelievable.
Unbelievable. And to say I was just a little piece of the history
Yeah.
is really cool.
It's another one that's kind of like this forgotten about, just badass place is the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Vegas, man.
There's
like
never
there's
fights
so
any
much
there
history.
anymore. Yeah. There's
I
never
just put a
fights any-
show in there 2 or 3 weeks ago. The best crew in the world too, man. Those guys are fucking awesome. Madison Square Garden, the crew's awesome there too. No disrespect, but
Yeah.
the Vegas boys that have been in there forever, man. It's just like there's so much history there. You walk down the hallways and stuff. They have old UFC posters up and Tyson fights and just like it's so cool.
And we're still getting Tyson fights today.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? It's so crazy.
Let's go. Yeah, that was crazy, man. That was a wild deal. You know who I want to see fight Jake Paul is Chris Camozzi.
Yeah, that'd be great. Or myself.
Yeah.
Sign either one of us up, man.
Let's
I
go.
would love to.
I had an idea. I wanted to hit Trump up and David. Is it David Feldman? Is that the guy that owns?
Yeah, that owns the bare knuckle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and tell him White House lawn, Teddy Roosevelt style.
Yeah.
Trump there and the whole cabinet. They'd
That
be
would
into
sick.
it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Let's go. White House Lawn. Jake
Hey,
Paul, Chris Camozzi, Dustin Jacoby.
I'd buy a ticket.
Let's
I'd
go.
buy a ticket.
Yeah.
I used to, when the Paul brothers first came on the scene, and I was like, dude, I will fight both those guys in the same night in a tournament. If I get beat the first fight, maybe it won't happen. But and people think I'm crazy, dude. I do this for a living. 6 different times I've fought multiple times in a night. Like, think about that. With Glory Kickboxing, 4 of those times I fought 3 times in one night. And 4 of those times I've won the whole tournament. So for me to say I want to fight them in the same night, that's not a stretch of any imagination whatsoever. Like, I do this. That's what I do.
I don't think they'll do it, man. They need somebody that's like,
you know what,
smaller than them and slower and older. And it's like,
he's a money printing machine, man. I don't know how he's getting away with it, but people are eating it up. And I'm gonna be honest, Jake Paul's legit. Dude, he's legit. And not only does he have the resources, he's committing the time. And I mean, the guy's becoming a pretty decent fighter. So by no means am I, overlooking this guy or talking smack on him. More credit to him, man. He's kind of changing the game. He's elevating it for all of us fighters. Bigger paydays, more eyes on all of it.
I love the fact too that he's kind of steered away from the influencer boxing. Like, it's not just an influencer matchup. You know what I mean? Like, it's legitimate boxing matches going into his, like.
Yeah, I mean, he started with the influencer, and now, I mean, Anderson Silva, that one surprised me. I thought Silva would get him, didn't. Mike Tyson, come on, man. I
thought Platinum
Jake
Mike
Paul
Perry was gonna fucking get him, but man, it's such
Jake
a size
Paul's
difference.
Too big and strong, man, and legit, and he's pretty damn quick. And the Tyson fight, dude, I didn't even want to see that. I knew Mike Tyson was gonna lose.
Yeah,
and honestly, I think that Jake Paul went in there and he probably would have knocked him out. But once it was like a competitive fight, a little bit back and forth, I felt like he kind of held back a little bit. I felt like he didn't want to disrespect Tyson and completely go for the kill later in the rounds.
I agree.
And people call me crazy. I really think if he wanted to, he could have taken him out.
I don't know for sure, too. Somebody was telling me, I mean, boxing, it has some crazy contracts. It's not like the UFC, like just get in the cage and see who wins, right? Like, there's all kinds of crazy like stipulations down to the gloves and like all kinds of stuff. And I heard that there was some bullshit about a first round, like, can be a first round knockout on Tyson's end or something. It's like, well, fuck, man. Like,
and think of all that money they cashed in. It's
dude,
we're just
who
gonna
cares?
Go play spar for these people.
Yeah. Did you see him at the White House a couple weeks ago?
I did not. No, I
like
missed that.
Tyson was on
for
Jake
the inauguration.
Paul's,
yeah, I did. I saw some of
shoulders.
that. Yeah.
Like, they're boys,
absolutely. Well, then you saw Conor McGregor and the Paul brothers on the same bus. Dude, now there's a talk with McGregor, which I think the UFC turned it down, but McGregor was going to box Logan Paul.
Oh, really?
And in Saudi Arabia for like $250 million.
That's crazy.
I'm pretty sure. And he's still under contract with the UFC. When you're under contract, they have to approve everything. You're a guy like me.
That's the only way he fought Mayweather, right?
Yeah, they approved it. And I guarantee the
UFC.
Yeah, the UFC got a cut, no doubt. I guarantee it. That's the only way they'll let you, which I'm surprised they didn't get into that. I know Dana's wanting to get into boxing, and the UFC.
He should just create his own boxing. Like,
he got the power side. Whatever he creates, it's gonna
kickboxing.
Work.
Like, now that Glory's kind of out of the country, and I just had Chris Lockhart in, and we were talking about that. Like,
Lockhart's a good dude.
ONE FC is such a badass organization. Like, what they're doing, but they're only here like once or twice a year.
I know. Kickboxing has never taken off in America. It in the 80s it tried. It never got traction. Even my stint with Glory, they tried finding the American guys. I was the American guy. I went on the scene and they were really riding me, and it just never took off here. But then I go to Zagreb, Croatia, and I fought. When I fought Alex Pereira, March 8th, 2014, there was I think 15,000 people, maybe 20,000 people in this arena. Yeah, and then you fight here in the States, there's like 3,000 people.
It's crazy.
Just massive difference. I fought in Tokyo, Japan with Glory, packed arena, 13,000 people. Fought at the Hard Rock Casino in Vegas, there's like 2,000 people. It never takes off in America. I don't get it.
I think one of the best things about the UFC is the way that they promote it, because like Bellator and all these other fight organizations, this is no knock on them, man. I got a lot of friends we both have a lot of mutual friends that fight for different organizations. Yeah. But unless it's an LFA fight or a UFC fight, they're hard to find, man. Like, you literally have to go out of your way to get on the internet and try to figure out, like,
I know.
what's going on or where or when. Or
For
like,
sure.
BKFC's been pretty good about it, but I don't even consider that. That's like its own little league of.
It is. It still has a long way to go, but
Yeah.
who knows, man? Like Chris Camozzi, the champion of the world, the bare knuckle champion at light heavyweight or cruiser. I don't know what they call their weight classes, but
Yeah.
you know, early on, you don't see a lot of people like think that's cool or want to be that yet. Not yet, because it's so new. But maybe a decade from now, kids will grow up wanting to be a bare knuckle boxing champion.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, we're gonna see. I don't know.
Sure, Chris made a bunch of Denver kids want to do it.
Yeah,
you know
exactly,
what I mean? Like,
right? It's just so brutal. I'll never, man. When I first saw it, I'm like, no way would I ever do that. And then I went to one of Chris's fights, like I don't know, one of his first bare knuckle. I'm like, and I'm sitting there right by the ring. I'm like, dude, I could totally do this. Like, I liked it. Like, I think I could, you know. Well, then I went to his last title fight and I rewatched. I'm like, man, I don't think I could. I did it's so brutal. For one, dude, my hands. Like just punching bare hands, my hands are so messed up from the years of training. Like the fingers hurt, and I just feel like my hands would get busted up every time. I'd break a hand every single fight, and the cuts, the Camozzi's dodged some bullets. I mean, he makes it look easy every time, but he's never cut up. You see all these other guys come out of there just brutal.
He's a fucking animal, dude. That
He's
was a fun
built
night.
for it.
That was fun hanging out with you that night too.
Yeah, it was cool, man.
That was super rad. Yeah, I'm so happy for him, man. First off, but like, he's just a different breed of. I think to do bare knuckle, you have to be a little bit crazy or something. And like, not that Chris is crazy, but it's like his fight with Hunt, man, was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, blow for blow, like that was a gnarly fight, and Chris came out of it pretty much
unscathed.
He was a little bruised up,
a little bit, but not as
dude. He
bad
flew
as
to
you see
like
the other
Whitney's
guys.
wedding the next,
Oh, yeah.
one of her family members' wedding, like the next day or
Yeah.
something. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know, man. He's just good, different. He's just built different.
He's a good dude.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what's crazy? Chris and I fought each other today.
I saw you
January
post
28th, 2012. And it's just amazing to kind of see it all come full circle. I remember I made my UFC debut, UFC 137, October 2011, and Chris fought on that card. We both fought on that card that night. And I remember meeting him, and it's kind of, we just instantly hit it off. You know, now Chris and I are best buddies. Like, he's a great dude, man. I love that guy.
Dude.
We have just a really great friendship, and I could tell when I first met him. You know, when you first meet somebody and you just kind of know. Well, that's how I think we both felt. We were both like really cool around each other. Just felt really comfortable, relaxed, and we both lost that night. And my buddy Brian Foster, he's like, "Man, you know who you're gonna fight next?" I'm like, I didn't even want to think about it. I'm all upset. He's like, "You're gonna fight Chris Camozzi." And I'm like, dude, shut up. You have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah, you got Well, a couple months later, UFC's calling, and you're going to fight Chris Camozzi, and it's a job, right? They offer you a contract. We both signed on the dotted line. We fought today 13 years ago. Pretty crazy.
That is wild, man. I think I remember watching that fight.
Yeah, UFC on Fox too.
Didn't one of you guys like break one of your fingers or something?
Yeah,
was it Chris or
so
you?
I broke my right hand. I still, it's still swelled up to this day. And then,
little memento.
Yeah, man, it was at the United Center in Chicago. It was an awesome fight, back and forth. At the very end of the first round, Chris also did this to my nose. The only time I broke my nose, Chris broke it. Dropped me. It was like a flash knockout. I hopped right back up. So I probably gave him round one. I thought I won round two. It was a really competitive fight. And at the end of round two, I felt like the fight getting a little easier. I could tell he was like, had something going on. And sure enough, he like broke, I don't know if he broke his finger or like snapped his finger in half. And then in the middle of the round, I remember I was watching him and he was like real concerned. And I remember he like popped it back in place. He's like, "I'm good." I was like, "Oh shit." And I was like, so then he comes back out and he was good to go. And it was a very competitive third round. And then he ended up getting me in a guillotine choke, man.
That's wild, man. And boys, today, you guys were just hog hunting like last week, right?
So,
or
dude,
something?
that's how I moved out to Colorado. So I was born and raised in Fort Morgan, but when I was in junior high, 6th grade, just shy, my family moved to Central Illinois.
Okay.
And then throughout my fight career, I ended up fighting Chris, and we actually, from that first card we were on together, UFC 137, I think we exchanged numbers, and we were just kind of talking. Well, then we signed up to fight each other, and then we fought. And then afterwards, we kind of kept in touch. You know, we were both fight fans. I'd watch him fight. I congratulate him. And he watched me fight. I won the Glory Kickboxing tournament in Tulsa, Oklahoma. 3 fights one night, and it was kind of a big deal. It was like Glory was just getting on the scene, and
you guys were training out of the same gym too for a while, right? At Factory X.
So I came on the scene. I had those 3 fights. Camozzi saw it. He's a huge fan. He hit me up. He's like, dude, that's so badass. He's like, congratulations. He's like, you got to come out here and train, man. And that was February 2013. I think just a couple months later, I came out to Denver and I stayed with Chris. I started training at Factory X, and a few months after that, my wife and I moved here. Right after we got married.
Badass. I didn't know that whole story.
I've been at Factory X ever since. And unfortunately, Chris has moved on, and, relationships happen, things happen. And, so we're no longer trained together, but I would really like to here. We're both at the end of our careers. In the big picture, we still got a lot of fight left in us, but in the big picture at the end of our careers, I'd love to get back on the mats with him. And we were just in Oklahoma, another kind of full circle deal. My buddy, Brian Foster, an amazing dude,
Stud.
Amazing fighter. Yeah. His boys are fighting now. I watched his son.
His kids are fighting?
His kids. Baby. I've always known him as Baby. I watched this kid be born. And his other kid, Alex, who's making his pro debut here in like a week. I think it made his pro debut next week.
Wow.
And, he was like 3 or 4 running on the mats when I met Brian Foster. But anyway, Chris and I took a trip to Oklahoma. Brian had some fights. His baby, who's now 17, had his first MMA fight and looked amazing. Look, he's just a little Brian Foster Jr., just a little animal, man. And looked like it was one of those moments, had tears in my eyes. And watching Brian Foster coach him and corner him and watch him do everything to a T and just fight like a Foster. I'm like, holy crap, here we go. You got the next generation of Foster kids coming up.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, Chris and I were there. We were special guests at his event. We commentated on the fights. And
really?
Yeah,
Dope.
we did an Oklahoma hog hunt, the backwoods Oklahoma
I saw
hog
that
hunt, which
post,
was
man.
epic, man.
You got to pull up Dustin's Instagram because I want to see the photo of you and Chris fighting or whatever you posted today.
It's on my story.
Yeah.
And it popped up on my Amazon photos. I got Amazon photos, and it popped up a memory. You have to actually click on my story, but popped up as a memory. I'm like, so then I text Chris. I was like, dude,
there it is. Look at how young you guys were.
Oh,
man.
bro,
Chris doesn't even
crazy.
look the same, man. He looks like a 14-year-old boy.
Well, and
right
then
there.
look at Dana White too.
Yeah,
I would say everybody in this photo has aged nicely. Dana's taking care of
100%,
himself.
yeah.
Chris and I are still going strong. I mean, that's crazy, man. 12 years
you guys
ago.
look better now than you did then. I think so.
Years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 2025. Holy shit, 13 years ago, Chris.
Yeah.
What are you doing, man?
It's hard to do math, when you've been hit in the head that many times. Come on, bro.
For sure.
Got an iron chin for a reason,
Dude, and Camozzi
both.
does have an iron chin, man. That guy, and he's a freaking animal. He doesn't get hangovers. We were in Oklahoma. I was feeling like awful the next day. This guy's up and at him. I'm like, how do you do it, bro? He's never been knocked out. He's never even really been rocked. The guy's fought professionally for 15 years. This is my 15th year. He's 15, 16 years. And
every podcast I do with him is a marathon, or anything I do with Chris is a marathon.
Dude, try keeping up, man. That guy is an animal.
Even he's Mr. Good Time, man. You are too, man. You guys are fucking. It makes sense, yeah. Because you guys can have fun no matter what you're doing. I think the very first time Chris came in here, he's like, "Yeah, I got a cold." And I was like, well, don't worry about it. And he was like a week out from his bare knuckle fight or something, I think. Yeah. This was 2 years ago because I've only known him about 2 years, I think.
Really?
Yeah. It feels like I've known him longer than that.
Well, how long have we known? We've known each other longer than 2 years.
Dude, well, I'm going on 5 years here. And you came on the first year, I think.
Yeah, and you knew Chris before me, right?
No.
No kidding?
No, I knew Mark.
Okay.
Yes, because
I thought I met you through Chris, but it was through Mark, probably. Okay.
Or it might have been Jordan. Jordan's been awesome too, man.
Yeah.
Jordan Kurtz, shout out, comments from the Peanut Gallery.
Yeah.
Awesome dude. But I knew Mark from the bow shop.
Okay.
Funny enough, yeah.
Wow.
I met him at Bear Creek Archery one day, and he was just a cool dude. Long before I started the podcast, maybe 2 or 3 years. Maybe even longer than that, before I started the podcast. So he was one of the first guys on my list because I was like, this is somebody that I know that's in the UFC or is heavily involved in the UFC at the time. and is just a super cool guy. Like me and Mark hit it off right away. So I was like, when I was looking at podcast guests, I was like, this is great. And Mark, I've said this ad nauseum, but I attribute my audience here, like Mark built it right out of the gate.
That's
because he came in and we just started talking about archery, and we were name dropping crazy like Denver Broncos and Cameron Haynes and all this sort of stuff. So me being naive and dumb to social media, they went back, and whatever Mark did, he just tagged everybody in the episode, and then all those people turned around and shared it. And it was like overnight, like
Boom.
Cameron Haynes shared a post, and it was
super cool.
We went from like 150 listeners to like a couple thousand.
That's crazy,
like in
man.
24 hours, you know. I was like, Mark's just a good dude. He gets
He's
it.
a great
you know?
dude, man.
Yeah.
He's an exceptional leader. An exceptional leader of men, man. He's one of those guys. He's out there on the mats with us. He's at strength conditioning, pushing guys, and just a really good leader, man.
He's inspiring to me, man. Like, definitely a mentor. Like, he comes in here and just, I'm inspired to be a better person, you know? Just being
totally.
around him. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was wild. So yeah, Chris came in and he was sick, and I think we drank like a couple bottles of whiskey.
I believe it.
You know, and I was like, this motherfucker. And then he went and fought, you know, like a week later or something. Like, he was good to go. First round knockout, no big deal, you know? It's like crazy. Yeah, I love that dude. And he's done a lot for me too. But yeah, the bare knuckle conditioning is wild. I mean, to bring it back to Chris, he set me up with Scott Parker from the Colorado Avalanche, the sheriff. Yeah. And just like, I don't know if you've ever talked to that dude at all about the conditioning that he did for hockey fights and stuff, like punching trees and fucking.
Yeah, Chris would tell me a little bit about
dragging his knuckles down the side of like concrete walls and shit to
Insane,
like callous
man.
them up. And it's wild. Dude, congratulations on your knockout. I about broke my living room. My wife and kids were like, what's going on?
That's what he said.
Well, me and my son were going wild. My son was standing on the couch, like jumping.
It's so funny how many people reached out. They're like, dude, I woke my kids up. My wife got pissed at me. Like, I'm getting to that age. Like, all my buddies have kids that are like watching or little, and they're like, dude, I freaking, exploded. The house exploded. I woke everybody up. My wife was pissed. It's so funny, man, because everybody's got kids now. It's crazy.
Well, it was such a nail biter, like going into that. And I was just watching it, you go through 2 rounds, and I was like, man, something's off. Something's like, I wasn't feeling good about it. Not that I was like, Dustin's going to lose the fight, but I was like concerned,
Yeah,
like,
you got to go.
But I didn't know the game plan either, right? And then, holy shit, dude. Like, it's just not normal Dustin Jacoby fashion to like go into the octagon and not see fireworks like right out of the gate.
I know. I was extremely patient. And, dude, I am extremely proud of myself for how I fought that fight. I fought it to a T. Let's back up real quick.
Yeah.
Though. So it was a 16-week training camp. And it was long. It was long, but it was good. Everything went really smooth. And 3 week before the fight, I'm sparring.
I wanted to ask you about this.
I'm sparring, I'm prepping, and I'm sparring Gilbert Smith. And, long-time UFC veteran and martial artist, and grew up with Gilbert the past decade, all the time. And he had came in, and I was going for a takedown, and my foot was posted. And I don't know if you remember how can you pull up on Reddit John Jones toe injury?
I know exactly what. Yeah.
And it's exactly what I did, man. I was posted with my foot, and I thought I like stubbed my toe. And I'm like, what the heck? And I completed the takedown, and there was like 90 seconds left in the round, and my toe hurt really bad. And I start walking back to, here you go. This is exactly it. I was posted, and my big toe just ripped off my foot. And again, this is in the middle of a training session. I finished the round. Like, I thought I just stubbed my toe. I felt weird. And then I get up because I finished the takedown, and I start walking to the corner. I'm like, man, my toe is really sore. And then we notice like all this blood. And I'm like, what the heck? So I'm sitting on the stool. I take my leg pad off, and I look down. I'm like, holy crap. It looked like someone took a knife and just cut the inside of my toe on this toe, the inside. So I grabbed my toe. And I was like, man, I wanted to see like how bad the cut was. And I went to look at it, and my entire toe just came off just like this. It just came off the side of my foot. And I look up.
I can't even watch that. I can only watch
dude,
that.
I look up, and this is 3 weeks from my fight. This is round 1 of my sparring day.
Oh my God.
And it was like a door hinge. Like when I pulled it, it like hinged off, and I was like real concerned. I pushed, and it like hinged back on. And I look up, I was like, I gotta go somewhere right now. I was like, my toe, I just ripped my toe off. And Jara, Mark's wife, took me to the hospital. I got 10 stitches. The bone was not broke. When I got in there, you could see my bone, my big toe bone was just sticking up. And I just pushed it back over. And thank God it hinged. They were like, your toe came off. I was like, yeah. They're like, it hinged back on perfectly. Like it was dislocated and then it went perfectly back into place. And they put 10 stitches in it. And I went home and I'm like, okay, they're like, I don't see why you shouldn't be able to fight. This should be healed up, And the next day, that was on a Friday. The next day is Saturday. There's some UFC fights. I'm laid up all day. I'm major pain. And at the time, I was like, I'm not really in that much pain. They're like, do you want pain pills? I was like, I don't think so. And right before I left, I'm like, you know what? I better get some pain pills. And they're like, okay, cool, no problem. I got some, and thank God I did, man. That next day, my toe was throbbing nonstop. I was in just so much pain. And I'm watching the fights, and I'm like, there is no way in hell I can do this in 3 weeks. There's no way I can walk in that octagon and fight somebody in 3 weeks.
Your feet, I mean, you're barefoot.
Dude, barefoot. Yeah, you're balance.
Your feet are everything.
Every like when you walk your toe, you're gripping. Like I'm watching these fights. It's impossible to do that. Well, I let a couple days go by, and I'm like, wow, okay. So I'm kind of walking around, and by that next Friday, I was on the mat, my toe was taped up, and I was kind of moving around, hitting the bag, punched a little bit. I'm like, dude, I think I'm good to go. But by no means was I going to step in there compromised. I didn't have to take the fight, but it was something where the UFC wanted that fight to happen. My coach hated the matchup from the get-go. I mean, this kid's 10 years, he's 10 years younger than me, dude. 240 pounds. He's one of the biggest light heavyweights in the division. And he was 10 years younger, and he was 11-1. His only defeat was to my teammate Anthony Smith earlier this year in May. And I remember watching that when I was at the Kentucky Derby. They fought May 4th. And so I was like, yeah, I did not want to pull out of that fight because I didn't want the UFC thinking that, I was pulling anything. Like, I mean, I had the pictures, I had the proof if I needed to, but I was fine. I felt like I could get in there and get the job done. And sure enough, man, on fight day, I did. I taped the toe up, and I did not feel it much at all during the fight. But the game plan was to be super patient. Like you said, it's unusual for me to go in there and not go toe-to-toe. And I went toe-to-toe with him, but I was being precise, and I was not throwing a bunch. I was ripping the leg kick. Trust me, I guarantee you he might still be limping today. Yeah. I got him with several good kicks. And when I did throw, I made it count. But if you rewatch that fight in the second round, there was a time in the second round where I almost pulled that too, and I kind of held off. And it just wasn't the right time. But I knew it was getting closer. And I could hear the crowd booing. And it was still a great fight. It was high-level human chess, man.
It was unbelievable.
But that is a guy, you can't just throw caution to the wind with him because he's so big and strong. One of his punches, man, can put you out. Anybody in the light heavyweight division, they catch you clean one time, you can go out. And sure enough, I knew it was 1-1 going into the third round, and that's exactly what every judge's scorecard had it. And I was thinking, okay, I got to have a big moment in this round. And he had taken me down, and I was like, okay, that was his big moment. I got back up. I fought back up. I was really proud of myself there. He could not hold me down, and he was trying with everything, man. When he had that grip, he was trying his hardest. Full strength. It was muscle on muscle. And I was able to avoid it. I was able to keep him from taking me down. And then he threw that big knee. And I was like, shit. I was like, now I have to have a big moment. And it wasn't 5 seconds later when I knocked him out. But when he threw that knee, I remember thinking, okay, I have to go. Like, I have to go. And threw that right that just connected flush, man. One of the best knockouts of all time, really. Like,
fight of the night, right?
It was knockout of the night. Not only was it knockout of the night, I mean, there was people saying one of the best
50 G's, baby.
50 G's, baby, which is always nice. Anytime you can go in there and get that bonus.
Fuck yeah.
In fact, my last 3 wins have all been bonus wins. So, man, if we can keep that train going, man.
Let's go. Yeah, man, I was so excited, man. Like, out of my seat excited because I was like, fuck, man, this is probably going to go to a decision, and who knows what's going to happen.
I know, you never know.
And then I was like, oh, this motherfucker was sleeping.
Yeah, man, that was it was awesome,
was cool.
and I had a great group of people out there, and it was in Tampa,
I want to
Florida.
watch it, but we always get copyright strikes when we watch it. Sir, let's watch it anyways, and then if we have to, we'll edit it out. If you go to, because it's going to be hard to find on YouTube, we could probably find it on Fight Pass. But
yeah, that
actually,
is so gnarly, isn't it?
Oh my God, dude. That is brutal. I can only watch that so many times. Sir, go to Finder, because the UFC's on my ass, dude.
So I knew it. And then here's another thing. This guy's really big, right? And on weigh-ins, you never know because they're all sunk down. But on fight day, so we always weigh in before we go over to the venue. He had got there before I did. So I saw his weight. He was 236 and a half and on fight day. And we weigh in at 205. I was
crazy.
218.
He gained 30 pounds?
Oh, yeah. And I was 218. So he had about 20 pounds on me. And I remember I was like, man, he is going to look massive. So when I stepped out, I walked out first. When he walked out, dude, I stayed dialed in. I never even looked over his way. I never even looked at him. I was so in the zone, man. I couldn't tell you anything about the walkout. I was just
Didn't you say that in your
vision.
post-fight interview that this is the first time where you've gone in and like you didn't care who was sitting in the crowd
Dude,
or
I
didn't look at all?
Anywhere. I couldn't tell you anything. When I fought Dominic Reyes, man, and he just got me, and Dominic Reyes is still one of the best fighters in the world, and there's no doubt in my mind I can beat him, man. I want to run that back too now. But I just wasn't completely locked in either. I remember I walk in, it was my first co-main event. You know, it was co-main event in the UFC and packed house in Louisville, Kentucky. And, you know, I'm just looking around at everybody. I'm trying to find my wife, Kayla. I'm trying to find my family. I'm trying to see who's none of that matters, dude. You are locked in the octagon for 15 minutes with another guy trying to literally hurt you. And you have to be dialed in. You can't be looking around and wondering who's where or what's what. You got to be locked in.
It's the best of the best, man. Like really, dude. It's the top 30 guys in the world, in my opinion. Are fighting in the in the UFC, right? How many guys are in the light heavyweight division? Is it 30?
Yeah, probably about 30. I'd say
it's crazy.
Maybe a little bit more.
And look who's there.
The actual number on that, but yeah, you're right. It is literally the top 30 guys in the world, and now I'm in the top, top 20.
Let's go. Should be in the top 15.
I was, for a little bit, and then
I want to bring something up, and I think it was bullshit. I think you got robbed on the Khalil fight, and I don't.
100%.
Yeah.
The only thing that needs to be said, I was minus 750 on DraftKings. After the fight was fought, I was minus 750 going to the scorecards. Yeah. Going to the decision of who was going to win that. He was like plus 600. That's everything you need. That's real money. That's everything you need to know right there.
Yeah.
If when the fight was fought, I was minus 750 before that scorecard was read.
That's crazy, man.
So
yeah, no, this is my only gripe about the UFC, and I've said it too many times on here. And I am an armchair quarterback, right? Like I have no room to talk, but they just have their favorites, you know? It's like your Bo Nichols and your Sugar Seans and your Conor McGregors, like they get special treatment. They're the Patrick Mahomes of the division. You know what I mean? It's like kissing the refs or whatever's going on or however that works, man. It's just, I don't know. And Khalil kind of fits into that.
Yeah,
that category a little bit,
dude, and that killed so much momentum. I had won 8 in a row. I mean, I beat Khalil. He fought for the title.
I know. And this is what pisses me off so bad about it, is because I personally know I'm a fan of watching Khalil fight.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I'm a fan of watching any guys fight, whether they're good guys, bad guys, whatever, right? But personally knowing you, I was just so heartbroken, man. I was like, this is bullshit. Like almost. If I had a direct line to Dana, that would be one of the times I would use it and be like, yo, what the fuck is going on here?
You know what's really weird about that, man, is, we get paid to fight and you get paid to win. Mm-hmm. So I lost out on half a paycheck that night. The judges get paid in full. The judges get paid in full every time. So I missed out on half my paycheck. What's really interesting about that, though, is the UFC...
Not only that, that's more than that, because title fight is probably triple the money, right?
Way more.
Especially with Alex Plejada.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the superstar of the UFC
he's
right
the man,
now.
Yeah. No doubt about it.
Yeah. That's a paycheck.
Tell me about it. So So not only did I only have my paycheck, but the UFC, they still upped my contract like I won because I signed a new contract after that fight. They still upped it as if I won. And then when we went back out, both of our next fights, we were both ranked number 13, Khalil Roundtree and I. They didn't have a 14. They had 1 through 13. They had me and Roundtree at 13 after he beat me, and then they had a 15. So it's like the judges had him winning, whatever, but the UFC didn't really fully acknowledge it. And then, but unfortunately,
that's the thing about going to all these different states, and I don't know, the judging thing is just weird. It's really weird the way that
problem.
It is a problem.
I'm telling you, one thing that I think would really help is you eliminate the judges sitting ringside. They should not be sitting ringside. They should be in an enclosed, soundproof room away from you don't hear the crowd and you don't hear any commentating. You are just watching a fight with no sound and no influence from the audience. And
Absolutely.
I think that would
look at all the distractions that are there. I mean, you look and see who's in the front row, man. Like Donald Trump is walking in the building and shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And dude, and then we're fighting and I hit you and you hit me and the crowd goes nuts and you hit me and the crowd goes nuts. And now, even though maybe I beat you in that round, at the end of the round you hit me with a couple punches and the crowd goes nuts and now they award you the round. There's just so much influence. And you know,
plus a lot of these, it's through the boxing commissions too, right? So like
the state athletic commissions are
so even though I mean now luckily that the UFC has become probably the most prominent combat sports, and I will say this over boxing.
Oh, hands down.
I think so. Like you guys are obviously the biggest promotion right now, and I really think Dana's done a fantastic job. So this is no knock on it, but those commissions, man, you look at some of those judges and you're like, how the fuck could you couldn't fight your way out of a wet paper bag. Like it should be guys, which would be really hard, that have some sort of MMA experience, I think.
Yeah,
or
totally.
Like,
I agree. But even then,
it's a small community. So then you might have some bias, you know,
for sure.
But
and at the same time, I mean, judging a fight can't be that easy. You know, when we were commentating the fights in Oklahoma, Chris and I, there were a couple fights where like we just watched the fight, we commentated the fight, but we were at a disagreement of who.
Damn, I wish I would have went and watched that, dude.
Yeah, it's like because it is hard. I'm sure it is hard, but I'm telling you, distractions. If you eliminate the distractions, the crowd, the audience, the commentators are sitting
huge,
next
right?
to the coaches. That are
especially
like,
when you get.
you're
I mean, nothing
to the
against these guys, but you get DC or Paul Felder, they all have their own opinions, and then it starts turning into like a personal thing. That's one thing why I love that Rogan's still doing it, is because I think he's probably the most biased out of it. And John Anik's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But like, it's always that third kind of wheel. Like me and Paul Felder have gotten into it just on fucking line, you know, like
really?
he doesn't know me or anything, but
Yeah.
I'll fucking, when he says some wild shit, you know, like, and it's not always accurate.
You listen to this, Paul?
Yeah, probably not. Paul, if you are, you're welcome on here anytime. We can duke it out on here. Please don't kick my ass. But
Paul's a good dude. But I know exactly what you mean. Everybody's got their own opinion.
Yeah,
and
I guess I got mine too.
Yeah,
you know,
for
I'm
sure.
sitting here. Yeah,
but man, I'm telling you, a soundproof room away from those opinions, away from influence.
I think if you're in that position though, you can't. There's times where you can influence the fight, especially like at the Apex or something like that.
Oh, for sure.
And it's like
absolutely
whatever those guys are saying, and you're right in front of them. I mean, can you hear the commentators what they're saying when you even in an arena?
When I'm fighting, I don't, but when I'm cornering, you do.
Really?
You know, when you're cornering, you notice you're right there, and you kind of notice everything. When I'm fighting, I'm so. Even when I'm not completely locked in, like the Reyes fight, and that's not making any excuses. I just know I was not as locked in as the Vitor Petrino fight. You're still locked in. You know, I still don't hear people. This last fight, I heard the boos. I mean, it was overwhelming, which just blew my mind, too, because it was still such a good fight. Like,
well, they thought Dustin Jacoby was coming out there, and they didn't see him until the third round, bro.
Man, I was just super
I bet you it flipped, though, huh?
Oh, bro.
You know what shocked me? UFC fans are the worst. They really are.
100%. Here's an interesting concept with the UFC fans, dude, is you go to a football game or a basketball game or a baseball game, there's a very good chance those fans sitting in the stands have played that sport. So they think, and they've had a good moment, or they think it could be easy. how many times you go to UFC fight and take away the fighters, of course, but the fans sitting in there, and have those fans ever been locked in an octagon and fighting and playing fighting?
Yeah.
Never.
Never.
That's a bit. That's why
Like
they're
the
so
closest-
crazy. Like they can throw a boo out there like it's nothing.
Well, me and Cody were just talking about this because I had him in a couple episodes ago, and we talked about cornering your fight and stuff. But you start mixing all that alcohol with fight fans and stuff, and I was just telling him, I was like, I don't even like going. Like, I went to the last UFC that was here in Denver when Cody fought, and just to see how the crowd turned on him.
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
Fucking insane.
That was crazy
for a hometown kid. I mean, not originally from here, but fights out of here, right? You would think they would have his back, like
right.
It was just
that was
wild.
Bad.
And then I actually watched him fight. I went to the Austin UFC.
Oh, you were there when
December.
he got the slam knockout?
It was awesome. I had a couple different things going on. I was going to check out Rogan's Club, which was badass, the comedy club.
Okay.
And then I went to the UFC, and I had no idea they were honoring Mark that night, which was super cool. So I got to be there for that. And then Cody had that fight. But, God, what was it? What's the kid that he fought there? The kid from Austin.
Zach Reese, yeah.
So, I mean, him, hometown guy, you know, coming out and everything. And they were still booing Cody on the way out after that slam. You know what I mean?
Sure.
They're just ruthless. So I expected Cody to get that same sort of treatment here, right? And I was just, I don't know, man.
Well, you said it, dude. Throw in the alcohol. In a fight night, people are just jazzed up in a different way anyway. Everybody's a tough guy.
Yeah.
Everybody's a Billy badass. Everybody's like, again, they go and they've never actually been locked in a cage with another man. And dude, until you do that, you can't. I just don't think you can.
I'm not going anymore to sit with the punters, man. And like at first I was sitting in family and friends, but I went up to the 300s to meet some buddies. There's fights breaking out fucking everywhere. Like the only way I'll go, and I'm so spoiled coming from rock and roll, like BKFC hooked me up with a media badge, which was super dope for Chris's fight.
Nice.
You know, so
Was that one here in Denver?
yeah, so we kind of had our own little section down there where it wasn't like, you know, anybody and everybody, but you go up into the stands, dude, they're heathens. You know what I mean?
Are,
like
man.
nothing against anybody that goes or is a fight fan. Like it's what drives the sport, but I'm just not down to fuck around with it. The first bare knuckle that I went to watch Chris fight was at that First Bank Center. Did they tear that place down or something? Or?
I think they did. Yeah. I have no idea.
That's a badass little arena.
To put more apartments.
Stupid.
Yeah, put more townhomes, more apartments. There's a ton of apartments right there, and I guess I think it is torn down.
It's crazy.
I fought there in 2016, I think. Was it?
Okay.
Yeah, I fought Simon Marcus again for the Glory World title.
Oh, really?
Fought him twice, and that's
You're actually who made me a fan of kickboxing, like watching you in Glory.
Yeah.
You know, like following you through that.
Glory days, baby.
Yeah, it's wild. But I was leaving Chris's fight when he fought there, and we were leaving the parking garage, and some dude rammed another guy with his car, like not the actual person. I don't know that anybody got hurt, but like clogged up the whole garage. You know, I was just like, fuck
People
this.
are
I parked
crazy,
my
man.
car. I was like, took an Uber. I was like, I'm out of here, dude. I'll
People
come
are
get my car
crazy,
tomorrow.
man.
Yeah, it's wild. I just don't like being around stupid people that want to get violent. It's not a good
man.
spot.
You
Yeah.
get the juices flowing. You get everybody's jazzed up, and then again, you throw the alcohol in there, man. It's nuts. You never
It's
know.
wild. But yeah, so going back to your last fight here, Sarah, let's pull this up real quick. If you're not checking out the Mountainside Podcast on YouTube, you absolutely should be. If you like the content that we create here and you want to help support the podcast, please take a moment, subscribe to us on YouTube, and hit that notification bell. Different. Yeah, well, let's watch that first one. If you just hit the space bar, I think it'll play.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I think this is the knee I'm talking about. He comes in with a knee right here. Yep. I'm thinking, oh gosh, now I got to go. I got to have one. I knew it was late.
Oh my God. Dude. That was, I mean, did you envision this like when you're throwing it, or are you just throwing like motor? Did you guys work this in camp?
Oh
or?
yeah, no, I was picturing it. I throw a 2 down the pipe pretty good. It took me back to my
Really good.
took me back to my baseball, football days, man. I was a pretty good pitcher and a quarterback, of course, and It was just stepping into it, man, and throwing it right down the pipe, and it was fast. And that's another thing, man. The game plan, I wanted to take him into deep waters, and we got into a pretty good exchange right before then where he tried taking me down, and we were fighting just tooth and nail. And I remember getting up, and I got away, and I'm thinking, holy shit, I'm so tired. Like, my body's so tired. And I hear Coach yelling, Mark, he's like, he's tired. DJ, this is where we wanted him. He's tired. And then I flipped a switch. I'm like, you're right. This is where we wanted this. It's my turn. I got to go. Then he threw that flying knee, and it hit me right in the throat, man. In the next month, I'm not kidding. Like, my throat was sore right here for like the next freaking month. And I just got over it. And it was just a super
fight,
hard knee.
It's
man.
just like car crashes. Watching like the big guys, like when you or Chris or anything above middleweight.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It is just like car crashes, man.
It is,
it's
man.
Unbelievable.
Big dudes going at it. And that kid that I just knocked out, he's fighting already March 8th. He's already got a fight.
Really?
Yeah, in Vegas, moving up to heavyweight.
Wow.
He's fighting at heavyweight against Jonathan Benitez. A former Glory kickboxer who I trained with in Breda Holland.
That's a little
years
fast,
ago.
man.
Dude,
that's
super fast for
crazy.
getting flatlined like that.
Yeah.
In all my years fighting.
I mean, that's not like a.
He was flatlined. He was out cold. He was out cold when he rolled over. You said like he was out cold.
Plus, I think you got one or two on him. When
I got
down,
one.
right?
Yeah, and you don't want to, but at the same time,
you have to, man.
Dude,
it's the game, right?
It's in the game. It is what it is, man. He would have done it to me. Everybody's like, "Oh, that's illegal. A punch to the back of the head. That's bullet. Why'd you have to do that?" I'm like, dude, that's what we do. And it was not the back of the head when it was perfectly right on the side. And again, I kind of feel bad about it, but I mean, I was in the moment. It's what we do. It's what we're paid to do. It's what he would have done to me. It's just part of the sport. It wasn't the back of the head. It was just
how many times have guys done a walk off? And next thing you know, they're losing a fight.
Yeah,
like,
for sure,
shit
man.
happens,
you
man.
You got to go in there and finish the job.
Yeah. Well, you did that night, dude.
Man,
congrats,
it was
bro.
epic. I sure
awesome.
do appreciate you. Like I said, I got a bonus, which is always nice, man. You can go, and then I was saying this on an interview, man. I got my show money, I got my win money, which is really good, and I got my bonus as well. And it's like, I accomplished all these things. I got one. They only give out 4, and 2 of them are Friday the night.
Did you drive the Lambo up today, dude? Or
no, I didn't drive the Lambo up. But again, I'm just not fully satisfied. It's weird, and I think that's probably why I'm at where I'm at today in my career. And I always say keep swinging. You just got to keep swinging, man, and good or bad. I mean, because the good times and the bad times both go by, man. It's not always sunshine and rainbows, and it's not only dark, cloudy days, man. You just got to battle through the good and the bad, and I think that's why I'm at where I'm at, because I'm not satisfied. I want to go do more. I want to go top that, and I want to keep.
Yeah, let's go, man. I mean, the clock is ticking, dude.
Yeah,
like just being a fan from the outside, I'm an armchair fucking guy. You know what I mean? But if I were a matchmaker, I would be looking at you seriously for a Peloton fight, man. Like I know,
man. We have history.
The rankings don't.
Sells.
I know that sells.
Get a rematch with Khalil Roundtree. You beat him, you should be having an immediate title fight.
You shouldn't even have to fight Khalil.
But tell me about it. I know, but a guy that's coming off a title fight.
Yeah.
And I argue, but I did beat him, man. There's no doubt in my mind I won that fight, and he knows it too.
But that's probably the quickest path.
That's the quickest path.
What about going through Yuri?
I know, right? That's another great matchup. I watched Yuri and Jamal Hill fight. I can beat both those guys.
I mean,
it's
so crazy. His hands down, just like it's unbelievable. But
it's unorthodox. He's the 205 Tony Ferguson.
Yeah.
But I'm a huge fan of him too, man. What a cool guy. What an interesting guy. And I think it would be great to have a fight.
And
with
I'm
him.
not saying this just because you're my buddy. I think for Peloton, in my opinion, that's the fight I want to see. You might be his kryptonite, man.
And man, and there's history in the making there.
I know. And how long ago was that fight?
That was March 8th, 2014, 11 years ago. You know what's funny? Go to my Instagram. Let's pull this up real quick. And there's a picture of him and I the night we fought.
Really?
It's just scroll down. It shouldn't be too far down, I don't believe.
Have you interacted with him at all since?
Yeah.
Is he a cool guy?
Yeah, he's a great dude, man. He's just he's stoic, and he's just a hard ass, and he loves fighting, man.
Yeah.
He's just a fighter.
I love the way that he kept his composure when Jamal Hill was coming at him at the Apex or whatever, right?
What was
who
Jamal
knows?
Hill doing that?
Yeah,
like, why would you go? Like, you get paid to fight in the octagon. I don't understand why you'd go up and start talking smack, and then Botan just like, here's the gloves.
Let's go.
We don't need to talk. I can't even speak English anyway. Let's just go talk with our hands.
Fucking crazy.
I just looked this up today. I was showing somebody. So, boom, right there on the left. This was 11 years ago. This was the night him and I fought.
God, you guys look so young there,
Look how
man.
young. And that was in Zagreb, Croatia, man. Look at that dude's fist.
That is wild, man.
Massive, man. And we were both just so young and skinny, and we were fighting at 85 there and weight class below. And yeah,
did he do all his walkout shit then? Back then? The warrior type shit?
Yeah, totally. It's funny, too.
I think it's funny when Yuri was saying, like, don't use your magic against me or some shit, dude.
Yeah. He's got an aura about him, man, and he that was funny, and dude, he's just an incredible fighter. He's
I'm a fan.
But
I want to see you fight him.
Yeah, totally, man.
Yeah.
I would love to run it back with him, and of course the paycheck that comes with it.
We got to somehow get this episode in Dana's hands.
For sure.
Like, Dana, if you need help promoting
a
a fight, man, you're always welcome here. But more importantly, man, like, I've been around the world to some of the baddest ass venues, and I don't know why the UFC doesn't do. I have a bunch of buddies that work in the production for the UFC too, so this is no disrespect. But there is some amazing places around the world where they could have a fight. Like, the Sphere was cool. But I'm talking like historical gladiator
about the Roman
spots.
Coliseum.
Bro, let's go.
Why not the Coliseum?
There's actually a better place that's older than the Coliseum that was the first gladiator spot, and it's why they call arenas here, like basketball arenas, like the Pepsi Center and all that stuff, are considered an arena. There's a spot in Verona, Italy called the Arena, and they still do concerts there. And I want to see a fight there. It's older than the Coliseum. It's the first place that they ever had gladiator stuff.
Wow.
The Coliseum was built to compete with that.
Okay.
As a bigger, like, stadium, right?
That would be super cool. Well, now you got, I don't know if you've seen the Global Fight League.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So you got the UFC, Bellator shut down. You got the UFC, you got PFL. They're still doing that, but they're minimizing the $1 million tournaments. I think they're doing only $500K now.
What? You can't go backwards.
Oh, I know, dude.
Bro.
You know why? Because all these promotions come out and they come out hot and then they lose money.
I don't know how this Global Fight League thing is going to do it, man. They're paying crazy money, right?
Oh, I know. I've heard.
Yeah.
I got a couple buddies that have been offered contracts. I got a buddy, Chris Weidman. I talked to him. So I saw that he
signed, right?
He signed.
Yeah, let's
He's like,
go.
I'm part of Team New York. So I took a screenshot. I saw him like, hold on, bro. Didn't you just retire?
Yeah.
He's like, I said I retired from the UFC Octagon. I didn't say I was retired. He's like, I said I would explore other opportunities.
But it's like a team thing too, right? Like, isn't there like a...
So there's, so you got Team London, Team New York, Team Miami, Team LA. There are all these different regions, and then they all drafted. They had a draft, and I think there's like 16 fighters for each team.
They're doing what the PBR is doing now. Have you seen that? Like, I don't know if you follow bull riding.
Not
And the only reason I know this is because I had a pro bull rider coach in here yesterday.
Oh, cool.
He was recording on a different podcast, but super cool fucking guy.
You lend this space out to other people?
Yeah.
Oh, super cool.
Well, it's got to be the right person.
Yeah.
So my buddy, shout out, and this is a great time to shout him out because they're just getting started. So I'm just helping him get started, and like no money or anything is involved. I'm just doing it as a favor. But my buddy Dan Gates, he runs Coloradans for Responsible Wildlife Management. Probably seen him on Instagram, dude. He's like becoming a sensation. Beard, big old grizzly claw. He's really the reason why the mountain lion hunting ban didn't pass. And I wish we would have had him during the wolf ban. But he's doing like a live update, weekly updates. And it's a podcast called Through the Gates. And it's all about politics and wildlife management. But beyond that, he just had a badass pro bull rider in that's a houndsman that runs cats.
Okay.
And stuff.
I just went mountain lion hunting a couple days ago.
Did you really?
First time ever.
Awesome, man.
I went, Leister Bowling?
Uh-huh.
I went with Leister. We went up on his property. We were in his side-by-side with the tracks
Does he have dogs and all that?
Had his buddy that went with us had 7 hound dogs.
Really?
And at the end of the day, about, 2 o'clock, we got on some fresh track, and we let the dogs go. And within like I don't know, 20 minutes, they were at this tree like 600 yards away, not moving, and we could hear them hounding. So, have you been?
Yes.
That's the thing, man. It's like you gotta pick and choose the track. We saw a ton of track that day, but nothing. And it was my first time. And the guy was like, nothing that
I've never hunted lions just because I have like kind of a personal thing with it, but I've been on lion hunts.
Well, what's your personal thing with it?
I don't know. I just don't.
Do you not have any desire?
I just don't have desire to.
I'm kind of with you, bro. Like I loved what we did. I loved cruising the side by side. Dude, we were on this private ranch, thousands of acres. Dude, I saw, and it was my grandma's birthday, and she passed away like 5 years ago. And on the day that she passed, almost to the minute, I had a miracle shot on a 6x5 bull elk and put it down with one shot. And this was at like 4:45 in the afternoon. She died around 5 p.m. that afternoon. I have no doubt in my mind they were directly correlated and in line with each other. This story is just unreal. It'll go to the grave with me. We can talk about it, but it's just unreal, the amount of work and the luck, the pure luck of the shot.
It's such a cool story. We should talk about it, man.
Yeah.
I know we've talked about it on here before, but it's crazy.
Yeah.
Because I get very spiritual, dude. I'm out there for some reason. There's like a different connection.
Dude, I'm telling you, I killed that elk that day. I didn't find out. We got down the mountain like 11:30. I found out she passed away around 5 p.m. that day. And I just put two and two together like, holy crap. Not even a year later, my wife and I buy a house on Elk Court. And on her birthday, I go out, we went mountain lion hunting, and I saw 30 plus bull that day. Never even saw a cow. And just bull after bull after bull just coming out to say hi. And dude, my eyes, I have got an eye for them anyway. But these guys are like, holy shit, dude, I am taking you elk hunting with me. Like, you see everything.
You become a lucky charm.
I tell you what, man, it was my grandma saying hi that day. So that's what I loved about it. I loved cruising around. I don't have a real desire, I think, to kill a cat. Something about the dog. My buddy showed me an epic picture today. We were cruising back from a pheasant hunt, and we were talking about my mountain lion hunt, and he showed me a picture of one of his buddies, and it was this cat, this big cat. And it was on a rock with nothing, behind it. It's huge drop off behind it, and 4 hound dogs like right up in its face.
Yeah.
And while it was such an epic photo, I was like, holy shit, that's a mountain lion hunt. I kind of got this weird feeling. I felt bad for the mountain lion. I really didn't want to kill it. It's almost like bear hunting. I have no desire to go bear hunting. I
really don't either. Yeah.
I don't want to just go shoot a bear.
For me, I think their hides are fucking amazing. Their skulls are some of the baddest ass things you can, like a predator skull. Have you ever held a mountain lion skull?
Oh yeah.
Incredible.
Recently, yeah.
Yeah. And I don't have anything against people hunting them. I think they need to be hunted. I think they need to be managed. I think if this hunting ban would have passed on them, would have ended hunting in general, man, because it's like there's so many variables that play into that. And I've learned
things that should not be up to vote.
None of it should be.
That's one of them.
Yeah, none of it should be. Well, and it's crazy. And this is not because I'm a hunter or whatever. Wyoming today just came out and said that they're taking the limits and regulations offline. So shoot on site, shoot as many as you want. Like how it that's how the mountain lion. I have no fucking idea, man.
Because there's too many of them?
Maybe because Trump's in office, or I have no idea. It's obviously a political statement. So on that extreme, I'm not a proponent of that, and I'm not a proponent of banning it. I'm a proponent of letting the scientists and wildlife biologists that we pay tell us what healthy numbers are.
Bingo.
And what's crazy is so mountain lions in Colorado used to be a shoot on site. They weren't considered a big game animal until like 100 years ago or something. Okay. It was like 120 years ago. And the population was like 200. And through wildlife biology and scientific management, the population now is like 5,000. Like,
oh, wow.
And it's crazy. You have to like check in on these lion hunts. You have to check in the morning and see what lions have been taken out of what areas. And if the quota has been met, your license is no good anymore. It's not like elk. It's
Weird.
not like, it's really, and then you have to, if you do take a lion, you have to check it in with a game warden. They actually come out, they take a tooth, they take DNA, and that's how they're collecting some of their science. So the actual hunting is not only helping with the management, it's helping with the science behind it, because they're taking DNA from those cats, they're taking teeth, they're taking different things to see how the overall health is, if CWD is transferring to, like, all kinds of crazy shit goes into it. And I'd learned so much about that through this ballot initiative, this last one, because when it came up, it was like probably 2 years ago to actually get it on the ballot. It's like strategically done and put in place. But anyways, Dan is starting a podcast. If you want to know more about this, don't listen to me, dude.
Gotcha.
I'm a parrot of what Dan says, and he's amazing. It's called Through the Gates. It's out now.
Okay.
And like his first couple episodes are just mind-blowing, like amazing people, these incredible biologists and houndsmen and all that sort of stuff. But man, if you've spent any time in the backcountry or anything, good luck going out and just trying to find a mountain lion. You're not going to do it, dude.
So yeah, Leister, I've went with it, and he's become obsessed with it for the past couple years. He's never even seen one yet. And
really
thought that day, I'm telling you, we got on these fresh track, these dogs. So we go on the hunt, man. We descend down the mountain, which you've been elk hunting, you understand this. And there was snow everywhere. We're sliding super steep, 300 yards. We got to these dogs that were at the base of this tree, and they were looking up. We're like, holy shit, here we go. And this is my first time, and I don't have the tag. I'm not shooting. My buddy Leister is, but he's like, now be looking at every tree. When we get close, I guess what happens is these mountain lions tree, and then they'll jump to other trees,
dude.
And then they'll just walk away. They trick the dogs. And we think that's exactly what happened in this case, because those dogs, we waited for them to get on point. They were at this tree hounding, and they were not moving. They were rock steady. So, we go in and even when we were there, dude, they saw us standing there for 15 minutes probably, because I learned, he's like, now keep your head on a swivel and look around. So we're looking at all these different trees, and these dogs would not move from that tree, and they were just hounding up, hounding up.
That's crazy.
And apparently that mountain lion had been there and had to have jumped trees.
The Native Americans thought that they were ghosts. That's how elusive they are.
Wow.
They didn't even think that they were real.
That's crazy.
Yeah. They thought that they were spirits.
It
makes sense, because like the only time I've seen them is like out of the corner of my eye.
I've never seen him. In fact, this guy that we went with, his name was Dustin as well. Leister's buddy, grew up wrestling with him. This is what this guy's done his whole life. Like, he's got the hounds. I talked to him about that, what were you going to do if they banned it? And he, I'm still hunting. This is what I do. And one of those type guys. And I guess he's seen, Leister's like, dude, this guy's like Mr. Mountain Lion. Like, he's seen so many. He's like, I've never seen one ever. This guy sees them all the time.
Dogs you do, man.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
The only times that I've seen them, well, that's not true. I've seen two in the wild, or like in the backcountry, and it was when I was cow calling. And if you start calf calling at all, and you're in elk, like if you're in elk sign, your chances are really good, especially if you're deep, right? Like if you're where not very many humans are at, and where most of the elk are at, right?
Right.
Your chances are good, and they're there. Oh, well, like this one spot that I hunt in the Western Slope, I see more mountain lion sign and bear sign than I see elk sign sometimes. I'm like, the fuck, man, how many are out there?
So Leister said he was bow hunting this past season, was cow calling out to where he was walking. He walked right on his property, had trail cam set up. He went back and checked the trail cams a couple days later after the hunt, and he said he saw him walking by with his bow. 7 minutes later, a mountain lion walks by following his track as he's cow calling.
100%.
And he never saw. He would have never known had he not seen that trail cam.
I guarantee you, the ones that I saw come out of the corner of my eye had to be stalking me, because they come from behind and they go this way, and they make circles.
Okay.
So even when you turn around or whatever, they're just making a big circle and getting right back on you.
It is freaky, because I go out, and that's why I'll always have a pistol on me when I'm elk hunting.
Yeah.
Always.
The thing about mountain lions is, like, a pistol I get for bears, but a mountain lion is coming from behind you, dude. You're never gonna you need a fixed blade.
Yeah, okay.
Like on the chest rig that's my mountain lion.
Okay, what you got?
This is a hunting knife. This is a half face.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Camozzi's got all kinds of these half faces,
Yeah.
man. These are super dope.
But I carry a specific
dude,
half
that thing's going straight for the neck, right? I don't know if you have a.
I don't know, man. I just think that it's the only way. Like, that's why.
God, I would hate to be in this
Yeah.
situation.
That runner that strangled that mountain lion, dude.
So I'm talking with my buddies, Leister and his buddy. They think that there's no way in hell that was real. I think that
It was
guy
real.
came. You
It
think
was
so?
it was a juvenile cat.
How was he not? They said he had 0 claw marks on him.
Pull it up, Sarah, if you
Pull
wouldn't
it,
mind.
up because I gotta
Yeah,
know. I gotta
runner
know.
runs,
He's like,
strangles.
dude, there's no fucking way that
No,
guy
I
did
think
that.
he had stuff on his chest and on his face, if I remember right. And I could be wrong.
What is it?
Mountain lion attack
runner.
And then type in strangle.
Yeah, there you go. Strangled.
This?
Yeah, see the guy? Look at his face.
This one?
Yeah.
Do you want to watch this? Here.
Sure. Let's watch that one. You might have to give us some volume here too. See what they're saying.
Wait, was that the guy?
Yeah. I should have him on the podcast.
This guy?
We'll get to the bottom of it.
Yeah,
You
where
know
did
who I
this
want to
take
have
place?
on
This
are
take
the
place-
kids that I think it was like Fort Collins or some shit.
Really? So
Yeah.
it's here. Huh.
Everyone was trying to figure out the identity of the person behind it. Well, now that victim's come forward to share his own version of what happened when he went out for a jog and had to fight for his life. News station. The unknown Colorado jogger who survived a mountain lion attack by killing the animal with his bare hands has come forward.
It just seems
everybody.
crazy.
Just a show of hands. Who all is disappointed that I'm not, in fact, Chuck Norris?
31-year-old environmental consultant Travis Kaufman met with reporters Thursday to share his version of that face-off.
I couldn't believe it when I turned. Like, no way. No way.
On February 4th, Kaufman, out on a trail run, heard a rustling in the pine needles behind him. A young mountain lion was stalking just 10 feet away.
As it got close, it just kind of lunged at me, so
he's cut up a little
threw
bit.
my arms up, lashed on my wrist.
Oh, shit.
And then it just started clawing along my face and then my legs. I was just kind of screaming the whole time, doing my barbarian yell as best I could.
Also known as cougars, pumas, mountain lions rarely attack, with only 20 human deaths in the last century. But encounters
Bullshit.
happen. Earlier this week,
Think there's
surveillance
more?
video caught a cat
I think
hunting
so. There, dude.
But
Oh,
experts
what
say
is
the
going on
animals
there?
are elusive
A
and
deer?
usually avoid human contact.
It really clicked after I hit it in the head with a rock and it still didn't release my wrist. That at that point, more drastic measures were necessary.
Park rangers say Kaufman knew exactly what to do. He stood his ground, made noise, and waved his arms to appear bigger. He used sticks and rocks while wrestling the animal, but ultimately had to choke it to free himself.
I ended up getting 17 stitches along my cheek here, and then another 6 along the bridge of my nose, and then 2 over here on this side of the cheek.
He also says he'll hit the trail again soon, though from now on, he'll be running with a friend.
I feel really fortunate that the situation turned out the way that it did.
Travis's incredible story of survival bringing with it a surge of popularity, as his girlfriend Annie can attest.
One of my coworkers, her first reaction when she found out it was Travis was, "You gotta lock that down."
And
You gotta lock that down.
I mean,
I don't know if he could do it 2 times.
here's the deal. It was a juvenile cat, right? So we're talking probably 40 pounds, 50 pounds. But still, think about what a house cat can do to you, dude.
Oh, I know. That
Right?
thing would kill you if it was bigger.
Yeah. I mean, and obviously, if that was a if that was Derek Wolf's cat,
I
Dude,
saw that
that would've
picture
been
over there.
done
That-
deal.
Dude, that thing.
that
was
dude
massive.
maybe weighed $130.
Yeah,
That's
right.
a featherweight right there, dude.
Right.
Come on, bro. Like,
So,
but still,
I am gonna have to show
adrenaline kicks
Lisa
in.
that video. Like, so he was cut up. He did have a bandage
Well,
on.
I think the other thing too is he didn't come out for a long time. That was like a month after he actually got attacked. Like he blacked out his identity because he didn't want to fuck with the media. I think for a while, and then he became this living legend.
Yeah.
Dude kills mountain lion with
his
bare
bare
hands. But those were all the clickbaity things. It doesn't say kills juvenile. The thing wasn't even a year old. So it's just learning how to hunt, right? It doesn't
Yeah.
know what the fuck it's doing either. which is probably why he got attacked. He probably didn't know. I've never seen a
this guy,
deer
like,
in a blue
practiced
coat.
jujitsu or-
That's what I was going to say. Does he train at Factory X or some
he
shit?
had to have known
He
a
had
little
to-
bit. I mean,
Yeah. I don't know. He
And
said
dude-
he hit it in the head with a rock, too. I mean, dude, that's just scary.
feel
I don't
like-
care if it's,
golly, I don't even know if I could choke out a mountain lion.
I wonder if this is like a triangle or something.
I don't know, man.
His legs or something.
Oh,
But here's
Talk
the
about a
deal,
fight for
too.
your
Like
life, man.
cats, they, if you do get in an altercation with him, too, like he's lucky. I guess it was on his like back. Because, so how do you choke it out from your back? Because what they'll do is
understand how you
they'll
choke it out in.
disembowel you.
and they're so squirmy. and
yeah,
I
man.
don't see how. And that guy's so little. I don't even know how you get. And
Bro.
the average guy trying to hold a grip for a couple minutes, I just don't know. It
We
seems-
had Colorado Parks and Wildlife in here, and they were telling. I was asking how agile mountain lions are. They can, from a standing still position, they can jump 17 feet straight up,
it's insane.
right? And then, like, I think, how fast does a cheetah run? Is it 72 miles
It's
an hour or
pretty
something?
quick, yeah.
I think a mountain lion runs like 65 miles an
Wow.
hour.
Wow.
So it's basically, I mean, that's not.
That's insane.
Yeah, you're fucked. You're fucked. Fixed blade,
Dude,
bro.
and those claws,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's going to be on your back.
yeah, quick.
I think one of the coolest taxidermy mounts that I've seen is at, and I'm not a fan of Cabela's taxidermy. I think is bullshit, but it's cool walking in there. But actually, the one right here in Lone Tree, when you walk into the ammo section, there's one coming out of a tree at you.
Okay.
And I think that's exactly what would happen, dude.
Oh, I know. Good luck, man.
Yeah. It was cool. A couple
I hope
years
I never
ago.
encounter a mountain lion in that way.
Me too, dude. And it's funny, man. Like that day that I was telling you that I saw that mountain lion go off through the trees, and I just saw a really long tail. And I was like, man, it wasn't a big cat either. I didn't think. I was like, must have been a bobcat or something. And then I started putting two and two, and it was last light, and I just saw this like fucking 6 foot tail. I was like, oh shit, that was a mountain
Take me
lion,
home.
dude. So I ended up sitting on this wallow that I was on and waiting for some elk to come into there, and I could hear some cows like calling, and there were animals in there, but I had to hike out in the dark. But the funny part is I was on a solo trip, and I met this really cool couple that were from the Western Slope where I was hunting, and they were living in Missouri or something, so they had come back as like an anniversary like elk hunt trip, but ended up being awesome, man. This dude Eric is telling me a story. He'd hunted up there since he was like a kid, and he was like, yeah, this one time, he's like, I looked back in the oak brush, and this is the night before I saw the lion, and he's like, I just saw this pumpkin head sticking out of the oak brush, and he's like, I did like a double take and then turned around again. He's like, it was still there, and it was just like fucking locked in on me. And he said he could see one of its paws sticking out of the oak brush, and it was doing this, like to get
Getting
traction,
ready to
right?
pounce.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So he said he just took an arrow out because he was like, there's no way I'm going to have time to like draw with my bow. So he was holding an arrow, like going to try to stab it and just facing at it. And he said that it just went back into the oak brush and then disappeared, right? Decided like, fuck, I don't want to fuck with this
so
guy.
at that moment, do you get really big? Do you scream? And like this guy was saying,
That's what he was doing. He
Is
was
that
just
what
like,
you
come
do?
on, fucker, or whatever he was
is that
yelling.
what you got to do?
I think so, man. Just get as violent as you can. Let them know that you're not a threat.
Yeah.
Boy, they're in for a good fight with you.
Oh, buddy.
But still, I just don't.
I think I feel safer in the octagon.
I don't think you're gonna ever see him coming. That's the thing. I think
know,
they're gonna be on your
stealth mode,
back.
man.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. It was very similar. So I just telling you, I did a backwoods
Yeah.
Oklahoma hog hunt. Pretty similar, man. Cruising around in side by sides. It was like this part of Oklahoma was like some wrong turn. The hills have eyes type shit, man. Like I'm not kidding. There was a couple times we went down these roads and these guys are cruising all over. And they would come up to this random ass house that people lived in, but they're like, I don't know, should we go around? And he's like, I don't know, man. Like people will come out and actually shoot at you,
Right.
And like that, like they were not joking. And they thought better of it. Like, yeah, we better go around this other way. But as a matter of fact, what was going on? There was a 24-hour purge that day that we were there, and what it is
what? Like the movie?
It's a contest, and it's a point system. And the winner gets $5,000, and hogs were 5 points, Coyotes were 3 points.
Really?
Armadillo were 2 points. Coons were 2 points. Skunks were 2 points. And the guy that we actually went with, we killed 7 hogs that day. All 7 of those hogs went towards his competition that he was in. He actually ended up winning. But
Really?
we show up, and it's like 6 a.m. We're cruising back through these hills. We got a trailer with the side-by-side, and we're cruising pitch dark out. And you're hearing gunshots go off, and there's duck hunters, there's everybody's out just killing shit, and
just so people
it was
understand,
insane.
like 3 of those species that you named off are invasive. They're not meant to be on the landscape. That's why
Right.
there's probably a purge. Right?
Yeah,
It's
for
like,
sure.
They want you to hunt them.
Yeah, but how cool was that? It was a contest.
That's cool.
And then, dude, he showed me a picture. I didn't put it up or anything, but it was his truck bed, and he won the contest. It was one of 3 full truck beds of just dead animals back there. He won $5K, man. It was
Wow.
crazy. But yeah, we went through. We were chasing down, and dude, these guys that I was with were like super like roughneck, old school. Like, there was a couple times we got the hog, and I mean, I'd shot it several times. It still wasn't dead. He's like, "Oh, save your ammo," and whipped out a pocket knife and just straight through the throat, and sliced the throat and let him bleed out. And I'm like, "Bro, I can just shoot." "No, save your ammo." I was like, "Bro, let me just shoot it."
Yeah.
Save your ammo. He was definitely kind of flexing a little bit, showing me what was up. But
Right.
I was like, "Man, that's how they do it." And sometimes on those hog hunts, they don't use guns. Those guys will like wrestle them. They will just cut them, slice their throat.
Wow, that's crazy.
And
I have
the
no
bigger the
desire
boar-
to do that for
it's
some reason.
crazy,
dude.
man. Yeah, like I mean, I don't mind shooting them because they are invasive. Like, you need to get rid of them, and they are becoming a problem. I guess in Texas,
No,
they're
I
just
get
like
it.
overtaking.
I get it. I don't know. I've just always been the only. There's 2 species of animal that I really like to hunt, and they're right here in Colorado, and it's some of the best is elk hunting and mule deer, dude.
Yeah,
I love it. And I've been on whitetail hunts. I've done all that sort of like shit. I just don't. I like bird hunting though.
dude. Pheasant.
I
hunting.
love pheasant hunting, and
while
I
we're on
haven't done
real
it in
quick-
a long time.
Oh man,
but-
I need to take you. This is actually the
Yeah.
last week, and the birds have
Oh,
been.
okay.
The birds were the past couple years have been terrible, and this year we saw some promise. They were coming back, and then there was that big snowstorm in November that just there was so much snow, dude, and it just took away all the cover. It
Really?
matted it down, and you go out there, there's just everything so sparse and not much cover, man, and covers everything for them birds. They are getting every predator is attacking them from the time they're born. I think the average life expectancy of a pheasant is like 9 months.
Wow.
So not very long at all. Plus, you got us killers out there. And while I got a Chief Upland, I want to give a shout out to those guys. Jake Lindemann from Wisconsin's Upland gear, and dude, it's some of the best gear in the biz. He always hooks me up. He randomly saw when I fought on the Contender Series, and it showed my brother and I pheasant hunting. And he reached out to me. We've been buddies ever since, and he constantly sends me gear. Top of the line, very nice gear too. So I want to give out a shout out to those guys. If you're an upland hunter,
Pull up their website, Sarah.
Yeah,
what
pull
do they
up,
make? Like vests and stuff?
yeah,
or-
they make vests, they make brush pants, pullovers, like just all kinds of gear. Their pants are amazing. I've actually wore those on the hog hunt, the mountain lion hunt, and then for the pheasant hunt. So just top of the line gear. Their vests are really comfortable, really durable. Chief Upland. Yeah, they got an Instagram page, and Chief Upland, man, just a Jake Lindemann small business out of Wisconsin.
Those are the
not
best,
him.
man.
Yeah, man. Super
Oh, wow,
cool.
those are cool.
Yeah, these vests are top of the notch, and then they've got.
So it has a Molly system, so you can add like bird bags and stuff on
yeah,
it,
you
right?
saw that. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Pretty
that's
cool.
badass.
Yeah, hell yeah. So mine, of course, is all decked out, but you got the vest and you got accessories to put on there, your pouch, and
So it's build your own. It's not like,
Yeah.
because that's the problem with some of those things. It's like you buy it and it's like, this isn't how I would want it set up.
those brush pants.
Wow,
man,
those are
top
cool.
of the line. Yeah, super cool, and just a small business, man. They support
Yeah.
me, I support them, and
Super cool.
yeah, great people over there at Chief Upland. So
It's actually moderately priced, dude. That's not that expensive. Like that's
Yeah, it's top quality, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they've just continued to level up, and
dude, they should get into, do they make bino harnesses?
I don't believe so. No.
They probably could with all that. I don't know. You should
Yeah.
talk to him.
Yeah, huh?
Because
Interesting.
I'm a big fan of marsupial gear, but
I do like marsupial.
I think they're
wish I would've
overpriced, man.
Yeah.
Like, I like their products and stuff, but
I'm kind of like once I get onto a certain brand like Kuyu, I do all the Kuyu stuff for
Yeah.
elk. I got
That's a great brand.
Bino harnesses.
Dude, there's
Kuyu.
not really a bad brand out
There's
there.
not.
Yeah.
No, it's all good stuff.
It's funny because like my grandfathers and stuff are like, "Oh, we used to hunt deer in fucking red flannels and smoke cigarettes. You
Right?
know, like
Oh,
you don't
yeah.
need all that bullshit.
Yeah,
you know,
that
Like,
was our windicator.
and those guys
to
were
smoke.
killers. Yeah, yeah, dude.
Take a light one up real quick and see which
Yeah.
way the wind's going.
Yeah. Yeah, man, hunting's so much. I don't know. I enjoy doing it with my bow now. I've gotten really soft in my older age. I honestly,
As far as how far
I
you'll
just don't
go.
like killing shit.
Oh, see,
don't know.
dude, I tell you what, when I got my dog, Dak's 8 years old, 7, he'll be going on 8, but it was weird. I killed my first elk, like right after getting him. And, it had a weird feeling. I don't kill to kill. Like even like the hog hunt, that's fun. But again, it's invasive. Like they need help getting rid of those things. And, I'm just not like a killer to kill, and I hunt elk for the food.
I honestly take it like as a spiritual thing. Like
Me too,
I
man.
get stupid, dude. It's a way for me to challenge myself because I don't face much adversity in my life now. I
Interesting.
get
Yeah,
to
there
sit
you
in
go.
this
Yeah.
comfortable studio. I'm kind of stepping away from doing jiu-jitsu because I got a shoulder injury right now, and it's just like shit keeps happening every time I go back, and like shooting my bow is so important to me that I don't know. I'm just old dude, or something.
No,
I'm
I
not
get it, man.
old. I just don't want to be injured anymore. You know what I mean?
I
It's
get
like,
it.
or maybe I just need to not roll at the end of the class so hard. And it's like, well, it doesn't help being a big guy because like a lot of the guys that I end up rolling against are like, this is no disrespect. There's big dudes. Like,
Oh yeah. When you're a bigger guy, you got to
shout out to John, man. Like he used to be a lineman for like the Oregon Ducks or some shit, dude. Like played college ball. Like he's athletic, not a fat guy, just a fucking
beast,
and has probably got 30 or 40 pounds on me easily.
just naturally strong.
Naturally strong. So it's like, I can't let him get the best part of me. You know how it is.
You're not just gonna roll over.
Yeah. So
No, I
don't know.
totally get that,
Yeah.
especially at my age, man. I'm 36, be 37 here in April, and 15 years fighting professionally. And dude, my entire life, I've just been super competitive and pushing my body to the max limit,
Yeah.
And I get it. Like there's days I wake up, it's like, man, I want to go to the gym, but I don't want to just wrestle around with you for an hour. I just don't want to I just don't want my body banging off your body. And it's like, man, I just want to kind of relax,
Yeah,
like, not relax. I'd like a good workout, but there's some days it's just like, I don't want to touch you. I don't want to wrestle
Well, I
with
wonder,
you.
I thought about it. I was like, I wonder if I just skip out on the roll at the end because that's the only time I ever get hurt and just
the
go in and
technique.
drill.
Yeah, do the technique, do the
But
drill.
it's
Yeah.
like, who wants to do that?
I
And
know,
then
it
you're
is
the
tough.
pussy, and then it's
For
like,
sure.
yeah.
I know, man. I know. And that's another thing, going into the gym. I hate being at the gym and then just standing around watching or not getting involved. I feel like, dude,
can't do
do
it.
something. I know.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes, like when I'm injured, I don't know if you know this, dude, I broke my foot during that fight.
Oh, shit.
So we didn't even talk about this. I haven't even really talked about this much at all, but my foot's actually is at the tail end right now, but it's still broken. I just had an x-ray last week. In the second round, late in the second round, I threw a kick that it just broke my third and fourth. They call it a Liz Frank fracture.
Okay.
And 90% of the time it requires surgery. Well, I threw that kick. It was the last time I kicked with my right foot the entire fight. It was at the end of the second round. Knocked him out, of course, got done, go in the back. I'm like, man, my foot was way swelled up. And I was like, I really don't think it's broken. I think it's just twisted. It's been messed up since the Khalil Roundtree fight. Go through that night. They give me a boot. I wake up let me go back to that night. So we go
This
to the
goes back
casino.
to my car crash analogy. It is, dude.
Oh, bro,
It's
and
like-
you don't realize it seems like I always fracture something now after every fight, and I'm just my pain tolerance is just next level.
well, think
because-
about 10 years from now. I'm going to be 45 in
dude,
March.
I don't
bro.
want to think about it. So the next day, with a broken foot, I had a tea time with all my buddies. And I didn't go to bed that morning
Oh, I
until
know
like
you ain't missing that.
8:30. And we had a tea time like 10:55. So I got like an hour of sleep, not even. On cloud nine, so I fought at 11:30, And I got to the casino. I wanted to go out and see everybody, and everybody's been drinking all day. I didn't have my first drink until like 12:30. We didn't walk out of that casino until like 8 a.m. that morning. We were sitting back in the high limit room, just playing all night. And I'm still on cloud nine. You imagine the energy after knocking someone out like that. Like I didn't sleep for 2 freaking days.
Like?
Oh, dude, it's
like after a fight.
I feel like I didn't really have a dump that time. I felt like I just kept been going the whole freaking time. I feel like I haven't stopped. My wife will tell you too. She's like, I don't know how you do it, man. I've been so busy, but I played golf the next day with my buddies, and of course they're all, how much we bet? They all wanted in my pocket. I'm like, dude, I will buy drinks all day for everybody. I'm not betting you on golf because I can't even hardly stand. I can't stand here. I was like, at the time I didn't think my foot was broken.
What's crazy too that we didn't even really dive into is your toe. How was your toe during that fight? Did you even notice?
Didn't even notice.
Dude, that's insane.
But even now, like, because it was dislocated, right? Like I ripped my toe off. So even now, like when I move my toe, it still is sore.
Yeah.
Like the toe is still sore from that injury, but did not feel it at all during the fight. Had it taped up real nice.
That's crazy.
I'll continue to tape it every single time.
The UFC doesn't let you guys do any peptides or like stem cell shit or anything like that, right?
Yeah, you can do stem cell. You have to get it approved because they have to approve the stem cell, which I've had done in my knee since being with the UFC.
Did it help?
I didn't really feel too much of a difference. I don't know. I'd like to get some more, and I actually need to reach out to my manager. I'm sure it's something I could easily do and get done. But there's certain ones you have to get approved for because some have HGH, human growth hormone, in them.
Right?
Some don't, and it's just like embryo cells from a baby, or from an umbilical cord. I think is what holds most of those, and. Yeah, you can get it done.
I'm going in to see the doc tomorrow for the shoulder. I'm like, give me peptides, whatever, but I don't want to go under the knife, dude.
Dude, I wish we could take something.
That's crazy that they don't let you guys.
No,
I mean, at
man.
least on that level.
Well,
you know?
they used to. There was they did like the TRT. If you had low T, you could. But then guys were getting crazy and bouncing all over the place, and
it's easy to do. I've caught myself, too. It's like. You get a TRT thing, they give you 100, right? And you're only supposed to take 60. It's like, what's that extra 40
Have you ever done the TRT?
I'm doing it right now.
Oh, are you? Do you feel your energy better?
Way better, dude.
Really?
Like night
So what
and
are
day.
some things?
So I was apprehensive to do it. So I waited about 2 years and tried to just get it back naturally through like diet change. And it would go up and down, and like, a lot of it's dependent on sleep and recovery.
So you had it tested.
Were you
low?
did blood work for like 2 years. I was never like super duper low, but I was never at like
where
the
you should
top.
be.
Well,
I can't imagine.
You got to find the right doctor too, because what the average doctor wants you to be an average person. Like, dude, I'm not a fucking Uber driver, so like,
yeah,
you know what I mean. I want to do it for. I want to feel better. Like, I want to be better than average. I guess, right?
So what is average? Like 900? Like a testosterone level for?
I think it's like.
Isn't it like 7 to 9?
I think by the medical book, it's like 650 or 700 or something like that.
It was even a little bit higher than that.
Well, it goes by age. It's like a scale, right? So they start to scale it. But like my doctors, shout out, are like, no, dude, let's get you at like 100. Like that's.
Yeah, slightly above average.
Yeah, I think that's what we're going for.
So, yeah.
I think, but they're doing it the right way. So I'm about 4 months in. I just had blood work done last week, and they'll tell me, and they started me off with just 30, and then we're just stepping it up.
So
we're
you just take like a
gradually,
shot a week?
Yeah, yep. But I have noticed it to where I might start dosing twice a week, because by the time Thursday. I normally dose on Fridays. By the time like Thursday rolls around, I'm like, man, I'm feeling tired. And then
so is it one of those things where you just kind of want like more? Like you feel it right away, and you're like, man, I want more.
No, it just it's like you notice it right after you take it, like within an hour or something.
Shit.
Like when I'm in the gym, everything like
you're just feeling
all levels, man. Libido, everything.
Yeah,
and libido has never been a problem for me. So now it's. Libido is a problem now that I'm on it, right?
Yeah.
But like, not to get too personal, but but it's just different, man. It's just the energy level, the sleep, everything.
I've always wanted to get.
You want to know what's funny is my wife noticed it the most. Is she was like, "You're just like more helpful around the house." I was like, "What? Really? Guess I'm just doing
more
shit,
energy,
dude.
more
Yeah.
drive, more."
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always wanted to get my levels tested. Just I'm really curious because I've got buddies that are starting to do it. My twin brother was low. Chris Camozzi was like at a 200. He was like incredibly low. And
I would go.
That guy, it's no different. Like you wouldn't have thought that. Same with my
he's
brother.
actually the one. We were sitting in here doing a podcast, and I was like, I'm kind of going through this, and this, and trying to figure this out. And he's like, just go get it all, bro. I was like, yeah, what am I fucking waiting for?
Yeah, good for you. And the problem with me is, even if I was low, there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
Being in the UFC, I can't take anything.
Well, the
to
main
help
reason
that.
I got injured, right? So I'm going on like 8 or 9 months now with the shoulder, to where I have trouble like shooting my bow, which is an issue, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I was like, well, fuck, I wonder if testosterone would help that. So I'm just taking it in baby steps. But right now I'm full in. I'm going to try some peptides maybe or something, and then maybe go to TJ or something and get some real stem cells if that doesn't work. But I just don't want to I don't like the idea of surgery. I don't like the idea of people fucking cutting on me. And I feel like I don't trust normal doctors anymore. I don't feel like whatever they're reading off their laptop is just like, oh yeah, we got to do a lobotomy.
Yeah.
It's like, do you? And then you listen to like prime example, Cody's kids, Cody Brundage's daughter, Kingsley. Like, he was telling the story about her, and they, trying to figure out she has this super rare, is it an autoimmune disease? I don't want to get any of this wrong. This is Cody's business to tell anyways.
Same.
But it's just wild what the doctors went from taking her off of or putting her on a gluten-free diet, and this is like a 2-year-old girl, to open brain surgery. Like, those were the two options. And Cody's like, wait a minute. I feel like we skip like 12 steps in the middle, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that you can just listen to him.
Well, I think that, and with Kingsley, I think when they did do the diet change, I think it's helped big time.
Yeah.
Hasn't
Tremendously. Yeah. That's what he was saying. So, yeah, like
Food
I said,
is medicine, man.
it really is, man. It's what you put in your body for
No
sure.
doubt.
That's a big, big component.
It really is.
But to take it back to bow hunting, the reason it's like the only time I really get to test myself, because it's one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, is being out elk hunting, man, or trying to chase elk, or like there's something like spiritual about it, especially with a bow. And then a lot of times if you get one down, that's when the real work begins, because you're in a deep, dark hole.
People don't, dude.
You don't know, man. So
it's
like,
one thing to go elk hunting.
Yeah.
It's another when you put one down. And the
100%.
first time you put one down, you're going to find out. And thankfully, the first elk that I put down, man, I had a great group of friends that it just made the process so easy.
That's it. You
just got to gang up, man. You got to just come together as a team. That's what's so special about it too, is the camaraderie, and just everybody coming together, and everybody's so excited for you. And I have yet to be out where I had a buddy. Actually, I did this last time. A buddy killed the elk, and then we were all pumped for him. We didn't get one, but we're still pumped for him. We're still cutting the animal up, and we're still going through the process, which is always awesome.
No, it's the best, man. And there's no better meat. There's no better food to put on your table. And it's like,
I love it.
That connection I really love. And then it also is, I'm all about a lead by example for my kids, right? So it's like a way to just be that protector, provider type. It's a way to do it in a modern day society, which I don't really think we get to do. And I don't think a lot of people understand that unless they've gone out and done it.
Right.
But I like going, I play little mind games with myself when I'm out there too, just to get even more psycho with it. But, I kind of take it like I'll go hunting fasted. Like I'll be hungry. Like, fuck, I'm hungry, like I wonder if this is what it feels like if you didn't have food for 2 days or something like that. Or I will go where I just have like some biltong or something. And I'm trying to shoot grouse along the way if we're going on a couple night trip or something like
fun.
that.
Yeah, I've done that.
Like you can go a couple days without eating, no big deal. But
you do need some power, though. You need some of that nutrition, some fuel.
Yeah,
Hiking through those mountains.
I got
man.
plenty of it right here, dude.
No doubt.
The midsection, but I
you
don't
want
know.
to lose some weight. Go hiking through the hills for a couple days. Go on an elk hunt.
Dude, you want to know what has been the most humbling thing for me, which I don't even like. Cutting up an elk with this blade is no problem now. I've done 2 bison with using nothing but stone tools with Donnie Dust. Bro,
I think Camozzi was telling me about this.
it is fucking wild, man.
I can't imagine.
You should come on the next
what
one.
are you talking about? Like taking something like this or what?
So my buddy Donnie made all these tools, right?
Yeah. And you cut up a full animal with something like this?
2,400 pound bison. Like, you know how big a 600 pound elk is.
Yeah.
Dude, this motherfucker was 2,400 pounds. And no disrespect, Stubbs. He's got a name, but shout out to Stubbs, dude. Like, so the first one I did was an archaeological experiment through CU Boulder. So here, these are actually some of the tools we used.
Wow, for the cutting it up?
Yeah.
Really? You used these right here?
Yeah. But dude,
Did you bring these with you or did you just find them?
So Donnie, my buddy, do you know who Donnie Dust is?
I don't.
Oh, dude, you need to meet Donnie. He's awesome.
Jesus.
Or I'm sorry if I'm getting this wrong, Donnie.
So
You
got
can
some
correct
bison
me.
hair on here.
But he's written this book, Wild Wisdom, and he's got a bunch of other, but he's been on like Alone, the TV show Alone, but a former Marine. As a human, he's one of the coolest fucking people I know, man.
Wow.
Like, great dude. You guys would get along great. You get along great with anybody, Uber drivers, whoever, dude. But yeah, Donnie's just the fucking man, and he's been so generous. He's made all these tools. He invited me on a couple of these like Paleolithic, archaeological, anthropology fucking experiments where it's like, hey, I need a caveman to come cut up meat so these archaeologists and stuff can study how long it took and like testing some of the methods. And then he recreated a bunch of points for him and stuff. So he's made all these stone tools for me.
Oh, that's super cool. Where's he live? Where's he from?
He's just in Lafayette, man. So not too far from here. But he's a great dude, and I've gotten to know the ranch owners and stuff since we've done it twice. But it's a test, man. It is crazy.
Donnie Dust.
Yeah.
That's
he's
his
the man.
name?
Yep. He's the man. He's a great follow too, man. He makes all
Okay.
kinds of cool shit.
Yeah, I'm have to follow this guy. Introduce me to all kinds
Yeah,
of
no, we should all go do something together, man.
Totally.
He's a
I'd
great
love
fucking
to.
dude. He's taught me. We went and shot an On the Mountainside series with him. It's a new little series
I'm
that
already
we're doing.
following him. I must have
Okay.
watched one of your podcasts.
Probably.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
been on like
I
4 or 5
guarantee it.
times.
Yeah, I guarantee it.
He's the fucking man. That's from that day. These rocks were used on that day that we took
Okay.
that photo.
You know what? Or maybe Chris put me on that. I can't remember. Because he was telling me about you guys cutting that animal up with these.
Dude, it's crazy because it's just the
insane.
next level of the first one that we did was 1,600 pounds. And I probably brought home like 300 pounds of meat. It was crazy, dude. And it was
Bison meat's good, too.
It's the best.
Yeah, I got some in the freezer right now.
Oh, I love it, man. There's the ranch that we go and do it at too. Shout out to Eagles Wing Ranch. They'll deliver bison right to your doorstep.
Oh, wow.
It's like a box order
Okay.
type thing.
Like
and
a monthly subscription type deal.
Yeah. And they're awesome, man. Really good people.
I need a good meat sponsor.
Yeah. They would be rad. I'll talk to him. I'm supposed to have Jim, the owner of the ranch, is going to come on the podcast here
Oh, okay.
pretty soon.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Well, where is the ranch?
Steamboat.
And Steamboat.
Or it's not technically Steamboat. It's North Park.
Okay.
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's beautiful spot.
Beautiful. Yeah.
The
it's
bison are
beautiful
out there just running around. They're not like cows. They're not, all huddled together. It's like free range It's fucking dope, dude.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's a cool experience. But like, it's a challenge, man. That's a fucking test, dude. Like, to the point where I was like cross training for it because I knew from the first one I was like, I'm gonna be bent over so much that I was passing 100-pound kettlebell between my legs, like a couple hundred times a day, and just
Nice, man.
trying to work on the lower back, because
Oh, you've been out
you
there.
start
You understand
using
it takes
different
work,
muscles,
man. If you
man.
just show up off the couch, good luck.
yeah.
You got to prep for that stuff. You
And
got to
then
be prepared.
you're using something that doesn't have like fucking handles on it and stuff.
I
So
don't
like,
even know if I want to do that. That's crazy.
cut yourself, and it's you want to know what's shocking to me is how effective those things are.
Yeah,
They fucking work awesome, dude. I mean,
that's crazy.
Like, feel how sharp this is. That's just a flake. That's not even like.
Do they chip off and like break?
So
Like I feel like this is like kind of would be brittle. I don't know. Maybe.
So
not.
I've learned a ton too doing this, right? So yeah, it is fragile. Like this is obsidian, so this is a volcanic rock, but it's like glass, man. It's super sharp. So like when you're using this, little shards will break off, and it's like getting a glass shard in your hand and stuff. But this is considered chert, I think, and the archaeologists are going to eat me alive, but I'm sure I'm getting this all wrong. But I guess what it is it's petrified like sea plankton or something makes this sort of rock, and this is what Paleolithic, or when you find arrowheads and stuff from either the Ice Age or it's all made out of this sort of stuff, and you can find these rocks all over because most of America used to be underwater.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's petrified like sea plankton. So the rock, this is all stuff that Donnie's giving me. It looks like this on the outside when you get it. And then you just hit it with another rock or an antler and you start working it into this. Yeah.
That is insane. Out of this.
Yep.
Huh.
So think if you were
Is
stuck.
this one that he's actually kind of chipped away at?
Yeah.
Created? That's wild.
So it's
almost
crazy.
like a clavicle or like
I made this knife. Sarah, would you mind grabbing the knife that's on the table in the lobby? We went and filmed an episode, and I still want to go do the golf one with you and Mark.
I know. We need
think
to do
would be
that.
rad.
We're doing that as soon as the weather gets
It'd be
nice.
so rad. Yeah. We got to do that for sure.
Evergreen?
That'd be cool. I think we should do it in the fall because the elk will be out there. And
I'm down.
yeah. So this is very crude, but I made, with
You made
Donnie's
this?
coaching, yeah.
Oh, that's good. You took
We
some
made that
leather
on
here.
the show. And I started with a rock that was like the size of a dinner plate, dude, and got it down to that.
No
and you just
shit.
do it with like antlers and different. It's fucking cool, man.
Wow.
It's such a skill.
No kidding.
Like
man.
to make something like this, like, I mean, this thing's fucking perfect, dude.
Yeah. Well, this
that
is pretty
crazy?
damn cool. This, I can see where you can slice the shit out of something, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's super effective. But the skin on a bison neck, just the skin is like 2 inches thick, dude.
Wow.
Like, it's crazy. They're such a tough animal.
Yeah.
They're so badass.
That's crazy.
What's that? Oh, yeah. You're good. Yeah. That's badass. Dude, you want to have a drink or something? You want to
Sure.
take a break for a minute or?
Yeah, whatever,
Okay.
man. I don't care. Yeah, let's do it.
Shit, we're 2 hours in.
We
now.
are 2 hours in.
Yeah? Do you want to just wrap it up?
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay. Let's
Yeah.
wrap it up and have a drink.
Yeah, okay.
Dude, this
totally.
has been super rad. We got to have you back more often.
Yeah, thanks for having me on,
Yeah.
man. I feel like there's so much more we can even. I, mean,
I
they
can't
said
believe
it's
we
already
did 2
It's already
hours.
been 2 hours, and there's so. I feel like there's so much more we
Oh,
can
dude,
touch
we
on.
could do a 7-hour one for
No
sure.
doubt.
But we're just trying to do more of them now and not do so many of the Sean Ryan episodes, where
Yeah.
they're like fucking
Who
6
do you,
hours
do you
long.
have any? Do you have a list set up of guests you're having in here coming up?
Dude, the list is too big right now.
Because you've had some pretty cool people on show.
Yeah. You signed the door, right?
I've
the
signed
last
it a
time you were
couple
in?
times.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I think I
Fuck
see.
yeah. Let's go.
I have to sign it again. Yeah, this is my third or fourth time.
Dude, we are so fortunate, man. Just for people and the friendships that I've made in here.
I bet.
And
dude,
I got
this is
some
a-
amazing, like next week, I have a neurologist coming on that helps rehab special operations guys. And I normally don't like saying who I'm going to have on beforehand in case it
Gotcha.
doesn't work out or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
But I am so pumped about that to have a neurologist in because I have so many questions about all the head injuries that I've had or maybe fighters that I've talked to or former military guys or my grandfather's dealing with dementia. Like,
Dude, and
like to
I
sit
hear
down
that-
and
that
have a
stuff's
neurologist.
preventative too.
Yeah, man. It's crazy. So like to have somebody sit in here with me for 2 hours and I get to, they can't look at their phone or,
No doubt.
or they're
Pick
not
their
expected
brain.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's cool. And just to build another relationship, it's so cool what she's doing. So I'm so lucky. And then, the wildlife biologist that I've had in, Donnie, the experiences that I have in and outside of the podcast studio is cool too.
That is super cool, man. I can't wait to get out and shoot the bow with you.
Let's
Get
do it
Mark
all,
on the
man.
golf course. Yeah, we're going to.
Yeah, we got to get Mark up to the archery range too.
He would love it.
Chris
I'm
too.
sure he's.
Yeah. Chris has got a bow. He's ready to go.
He's trying to get back into it.
Let's go.
Yeah, so he's a lefty as well. So he's left eye dominant, and I think so. I know so, but I can't remember if he said he shoots right with the bow or left.
Okay.
What's interesting about that when I started bow hunting 4 or 5 years ago, I would shoot I didn't realize I was left eye dominant, and I'd shoot the right a right-handed bow because I'm right-handed. And in 3 or 4 years of shooting that bow, I had never hit dead center of the target. I was always right there. Like I was always comfortable to like, if I go out, I'm going to kill, but I never hit dead center. I went to go get fitted. I told the guy I'm left eye dominant. He's like, you have to shoot a left-handed bow. I'm like, well, shit, you think? He's like, you got to. So I get to practicing, and my biggest concern and worry was that I wouldn't be able to pull it back.
Are you left-handed naturally?
No, I'm really well with both. I guess you say ambidextrous, but I am right-hand dominant. But I'm very coordinated with both sides, but left eye dominant, right? So I shoot within like 20 minutes of shooting that bow at 20 yards. I'd hit bullseye multiple times. Dead
shooting left-handed,
dead center, which
Wow.
I had never done in 3 years shooting right.
Dude, you crushed it up there.
Yeah,
I mean, I shoot up there, like literally when I was going up there that summer that you came up, I was shooting twice a week and you hung with me, dude. So I can't imagine if
I need to get out even more.
I'm not going to be able to hang with you, dude.
Well, I'm a natural. I pick up on shit quick. So, and then when I get obsessed with it, and I'm like, man, I got to be able to do this.
Oh man, it's so much fun up there. It's cool too, and
I
it's
can't wait to go back,
It's good
man.
cross training for you too. You're not
Yeah.
going to get hurt as long as you're careful up there. It's like, yeah.
Remember when I didn't even have my bow dialed in, but I hit the target at 100
100 yards, baby.
Bro,
Let's
pure
go.
fucking luck. I'm so lucky too. I was just like, we were just aiming up.
Do we have a video of that? I thought we videoed it or something. Did we post it?
I don't think we did.
Okay.
I think I may have put some stuff on my story.
Okay, well, we'll bring the real film crew next time. Man,
Okay, yeah,
'cause,
totally.
Like, yeah, let's do that too. We'll just do it all.
Looking forward to
Do
it,
it
man.
all. We'll get out on some pheasants too, man. I'll come do that with you. I got to
Dude,
get a
it's so
shotgun
much
again.
fun,
but
man. It's so much fun. It's my favorite kind of hunting because you get to watch the dog work and you follow your dog, and when they get birdie, you just know. I'm like, Dax birdie.
Dude, do you want to know what's crazy? The craziest thing, and then we'll wrap it up, or we can keep going. I don't care, dude. It's our show.
Yeah.
But with the mountain lion thing, if that would have passed, that pretty much the next move would have been to eliminate the use of hounds or any sort of dogs for hunting, including waterfowl and everything.
What?
Yes.
These animal rights activists are just dude.
They're
that's
crazy, dude.
Oh my! It's a snowball effect.
It is.
Give
yeah.
them an inch, they take a mile.
Well, and
Things
that's
are
just
changing.
it. Just because it passed or didn't pass this time I mean, they're already back to.
Oh, dude, it's gonna pass.
You know what it
someday.
is? They're making money off of it. Really, after talking to Dan, they're making money off of it. So they're like, "Hey, we didn't win." So because it didn't pass, they're actually making more money. So now they're pulling the heartstrings of all these people that they have. Like, "Hey, we need more money to defeat these guys," and they're already back at it. Like, it's crazy.
Well,
dude.
that guy that I went with Leister and his buddy Dustin, man, he's been doing it his entire life. Very passionate about it. He had 10 different hound dogs, and
Oh, dude.
I mean, that's what he did. And he was
Those
like,
dogs are like their life, man. It's
Yeah,
cool.
dude.
It's crazy.
It
The
is cool.
bloodlines that go into it, they're like a family, man.
yeah, man.
It's cool.
And to watch a dog work, I love hunting behind dogs, watching them work and be in their element and do their thing. It's just so special, and that's what I love about.
I don't know why people have a problem with that either, because it's like
It's a natural
honest-
instinct. That's
it-
what they're.
it's natural for the dog and it's natural for the animal, the
Yeah.
prey.
Yeah.
Like, it's pursuit, and it's I don't know. There's no better. That is the most ethical way to hunt a lion, for sure. Like, any other way is stupid to like try to trap them or like any of that other sort of stuff, dude. I don't think, or to try to shoot at them from 1,000 yards away
Yeah.
across some canyon or something. Good
Right,
luck,
right.
dude. Like, that's not ethical in my opinion.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's crazy.
Interesting times, man.
Yeah.
We'll see where it takes us.
Well, shit. Let's wrap this up. Let's grab a drink. Oh, real quick. What do you got coming up? I mean, anything on the books
Yeah,
or
so nothing on the books, like I said.
any watch parties or anything? Or?
Nothing on the books, man. I got coming up. I got a pretty busy schedule. I'm actually going to play in a celebrity golf tournament. The
Oh, no
same
shit.
week as Waste Management here. I think that's next week or first week of February. So
Cool.
it's coming right up, and then we're gonna go back to Florida on a little vacation and just kind of enjoying the time, letting my foot heal up. Right now, I had a long camp. And of course, with the toe and the foot, I'm just letting that heal up. And I plan on getting back in there, I don't know, May sometime. I just got to get healed up and get steady back in the gym.
Let's go, dude. I'm excited.
I'll definitely keep you in the
I'm
loop and
excited
let
for
you
this
know,
year,
man.
man.
I know. Yeah, it's going to be a big year, and I know the next fight's going to be a big fight too. It's going to be a big name. I mean, I would love, like you said, that Jerry matchup. That would be great. He's eyeing Pereira, and he's top 5, so it might be a little tough. I might have to go get one more win, and get back in there. But dude, there's no doubt in my mind. I'm right there with those guys. No doubt in my mind.
Yeah, I just be vocal, man. Be loud about it.
I
Tell
know,
them what
that's
you
what I-
want,
I know.
man.
I'm just not.
I think that's a big part. You don't have to be an asshole,
Right.
Like look at Poeton. He's not an asshole, but I think like you asking for that bonus might have been the only reason you got it that night.
hey,
You know
man,
what I mean? Like
closed mouth
shit,
doesn't
let's
get
go.
fed. Yeah, closed mouth doesn't get
that's
fed.
right.
so-
Squeaky wheel gets the grease, whatever all that
That's
shit
right,
is.
man. Dude, I know, that's another shitty thing. So let me talk about this. I have that knockout, right? That has I only had like 900 new followers, and I'm like, wow, that's fucking weird. Like my following, I think I should have got like 10,000, like 20,000.
fight of the night. No, it's probably shadow banning shit or something.
Well,
man.
what it is, so Justin Gaethje, buddy of mine, become pretty good buddies with Justin. I have to get him up here on the Mountainside podcast.
I'd love
one
to
of these
have him
times.
on. I've actually reached out to him a couple times.
Oh,
I don't
have
know
you?
that.
Well, now that-
we've gone back and forth because I know
Okay.
Luke Cadillo really
Yeah, and
well.
I need to get on Luke's podcast.
You do.
He's been
That's a
telling
good
me
time.
to come up, and I just have not made it, man.
Bring a
I've been super
designated
busy.
driver.
You're exactly right. Oh, that's so
Yeah.
funny.
Hire a limousine or
great
some
advice,
shit.
man.
Or call me. I'll come get you, dude. Don't drive down the mountain drunk. I'll come get you.
Yeah, I
Just
will.
let me know.
Yeah, but Gaethje told me he's tried tagging me and stuff. He's like, dude, I can't. He's like, I can't tag you. He's like,
Really?
nobody knows. You have to type in the Hanyak. He's like, I tried typing Dustin Jacoby. I thought it would just pop up.
I
He's
always
like, but
just
dude,
type DJ because isn't it?
Yeah, and it just
Pull
pops.
his Instagram so,
So
we can
I
get the
need
handle right.
I need to get it changed to my name and,
Yeah.
and just my, because I have it the Hanyak DJ, but I think this is why my following does not grow exponentially, because I think people can't find me. Gaethje was telling
Scroll
me,
all the way up, Sarah. Is your name's on there though, right?
Yeah,
so
my
like if
name's
you
on there,
search
but-
Dustin Jacoby, it should come up, I would think.
I don't. Yeah, so usually it has the name like under the picture, I think,
Yeah.
because I've been trying to get this done.
Shit, you got the blue check mark though, homie.
I've had that for like 4 years now, but my following just has not. It should be a lot more, I would think.
You just need
especially
to
after
hire
that.
somebody to do that for you. Or
Yeah, and
some
I'm
shit.
terrible
Yeah.
with this stuff
Yeah.
too. I'm not very good about it. I
You know who
did
you
have a
need to
post
talk
from
to is
yesterday,
Chris's girl,
Whitney?
fiance.
Yeah,
talk
Whitney.
to her. She
Yeah, no
showed me some
kidding.
shit one night. I was like, she's all, oh, you're totally shadow banned. Look, oh, okay, cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
See, and then I'm not really into all that either. Like it's just
Yeah, I could give a fuck about it, honestly. I kind of prefer being shadow banned. I'm happy
I don't
with
even
what
know
I'm
what
doing.
that means, but now you got me thinking I'm shadow banned.
Well, the moment that you start posting anything about hunting or violence or guns, dude, forget about it.
My entire Instagram.
Trust me. Like, and that's on all platforms. I mean, it's wild. Like, I know just because of what we talk about on here or who I have on or what comes up in conversation, it's crazy. And then sometimes controversial shit is good. Like the other day I made
Yeah,
a
you would
post.
think so.
I made a
Gets
post
people
about
talking.
Yeah. I'm super excited. I have a buddy that's heavily involved in law enforcement here at a SWAT level, like across Denver, and they're just going to work right now, right? Like
Oh yeah,
they're working
Cleaning
hard and
house.
heavy, and it's a fucking dangerous job, man. Like it's not like
sure.
they're just going in and rolling up normal criminals. These
No, you
guys
got
are
Venezuelan
fucking
gang
bad
members.
dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And 50 of them the other night, right? So I've been worried about that, like to the point where I'm not even sending my family like, hey, don't go into public areas right now or stay out of Aurora. Like just fucking stay out of it.
Dude,
you
I
know?
live in Roxborough,
I know.
South Littleton, beautiful neighborhood. The neighborhood right behind us. I mean, there's been break-ins and car thefts, and what they're doing is they're going like I park my truck outside. My truck won't fit in my garage. They'll break into the truck. They'll get your garage door opener. They'll open your garage and then start raiding your garage.
Dude, I ran
And that's
into
happening right behind us.
I ran into a cartel elk hunting this year.
What?
Yeah, dude. I'll tell you off mic because I've told it on here a couple times. Insane, dude. Some sort of Asian descent.
And
like,
what do they do? Come up and what?
I'll tell you the whole story
Okay,
off mic, dude.
okay.
It's wild. But yeah. So
I mean,
anyways,
you got a gun in hand, and that's crazy.
it's wild. Like, and there was guns
even wanna
involved.
go there. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
even
It
wanna
was
go
it was
there.
insane, dude.
And you just don't know what people do, man.
Oh, no idea. And this dude's looking at me like he wants to fight me too. I'll tell you the whole story. But yeah, anyways, I made a post just saying, you know, like after they busted those 50 dudes and put them on that bus and the bus was leaving, I just reposted it. And I was just like, I think that's all I posted was that. And then I just put hashtag bye, right? Like, see you later, motherfuckers. Like, yeah. And dude, it got more views than I do when I do about like the podcast or something. It's just like, it's really weird. This is why I don't like social media. I probably shouldn't have posted that. It kind of goes against my personal policy, but I was excited. I wanted to show support for the people that are out there fucking working for us, man.
They're on the front lines in the trenches.
Yeah, man. Our first responders, dude, I think.
Shout out to them, man.
Fucking awesome.
Thank God for them.
Yeah. So I've been trying to put more of an emphasis on that and then having them in here and tell more of their stories and then what they're actually going through and how many times they've busted these people and they just get let out of jail because they don't have any sort of citizenship. So I was just like, I was over it, right? I was excited. It was a little bit of a celebration, man. When I heard that on Sunday morning or whatever, I was like, let's fucking go, you know? Like,
for sure.
I was excited. And cool shit happening. But the internet thrives off of controversy, man. It's stupid, right? So I'm sure that they show that to way more people than they do when I'm trying to do something positive is what I was getting at.
Right.
It's crazy.
It is crazy, man. Yeah, I need to get my name changed on there. I need to.
You got a website or any merch or anything? Or?
I don't, but I think I'm going to be teaming up with Pins and Aces and dropping some new merch.
Let's go.
So,
all right.
Yeah, local golf company, man, right here in Arvada. Awesome group of guys. That's who I'm playing in the celebrity guest tournament with next week at the TPC Waste Management. And,
okay. Gonna get some towels and tees and balls and
man.
Let's go.
I'll be bright.
I'll rock them, dude.
Pins and Aces gear. I need to bring you. Dude, I've got so many Pins and Aces shirts now. It's ridiculous. So I have to bring you one. Yeah, my closet is just full of them. So I've been I used to be sponsored by Travis Matthew.
Oh, really? No shit.
Dude, I still have a ton of nice Travis Matthew stuff that I've been given to a buddy of mine that's about the same size, and he's a good golfer and likes to play. So I've just been hooking him up with top-notch gear because I'm getting all this Pins and Aces.
I was all pumped. I had a dope golf shirt. I'll get to wear it, dude. We'll get out there.
Yeah. We will for sure.
Because I'm not a polo guy, so I had to. One of my buddies runs Dixon.
Oh, yeah.
They're awesome. But
yeah, totally.
All right, dude, let's wrap this up.
Cool, man.
Dude, good luck on your next fight.
I appreciate you,
You're
bro.
welcome back here anytime. So
Awesome,
anytime
man.
you want to come in, I always have a blast with you.
I need to get my brother on here sometime. Get Justin
go.
on here. Just continue.
Let's go. Dude, we can do multiple people now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
I want to have you and Chris on or you and Mark or whoever or fucking
dude.
everybody.
Easy.
Let's go.
Yeah. Easy.
Yeah. Let's have some fun, man. Thanks, Dustin.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for listening to the Mountainside Podcast. If you haven't had a chance to do this already, please take a moment, follow, like, subscribe, or rate on whatever platform you catch the Mountainside Podcast at. If you'd like some more information on upcoming episodes, safety tips, access to all of our affiliates, and all the badass discounts that we get here at the Mountainside Podcast, check out themountainsidepodcast.com.